Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the stream. I'm Xandros, and tonight we're playing Lamplight City. Hope everyone's doing well tonight on this lovely Sunday evening. It's been a little rainy and stormy here today, so it's actually kind of cool out right now. Humidity's finally gone down, the sun's gone, the rain is gone. And yeah, we're going to be playing a point-and-click adventure that I've had my eye on for a couple of years. You know, a little bit. And I'm going to have a little fun with this one, I think. From the little bit I know of the early part of the game, it's an interesting story. Now, this is actually something that was released a little more recently. This was, I think, 2018. It's not been out super long, so this isn't like one of those, like, you know, 90s point-and-click adventure kind of games. But it does have that kind of feel. So, just a slight idea of what's going on with this game. This is an alternate timeline where the US remained under British control, and the development of, you know, steampunk kind of technologies have happened. And this is the Victorian era still. So this is still the time of Queen Victoria. So I think this is going to be kind of interesting to see, like, how this plays out. I'm curious, though. So I hope you're all ready to have a little fun with me tonight for this one. But let me get something else set up really quick. Yeah, so this would be the one good thing. When I click off of it, the sound stops and the game just freezes. So, you know, no worries there. It's working fine, I promise. Alright, so how about we go ahead and get to the gameplay screen. Now, you're going to notice the black bars on the side. I can't do anything about it. The game just sets up in this kind of aspect ratio, and those bars are always there. So there's nothing I can really do. We'll just kind of have to deal with it. I'm sure we'll be fine. I'll try to adjust things a little bit as far as the text on screen when characters are talking as I need to. So hopefully you'll be able to read it. With that being said, let us begin. Wake up, Sunshine.
Wake up, Sunshine.
Haven't I told you not to call me that?
What's the matter? Have a rough night?
Bit too much Bollingworth ale is all. That stuff really creeps up on you.
Sorry I couldn't join you, but I was long overdue for a quiet night in with Addie.
That's fine. There'll be plenty of other opportunities. Hell, maybe Adelaide can even join us. It's been ages since she last drank me under the table.
I'm afraid she mostly sticks to tea these days.
Miles, what exactly is it we're looking into? I may have dozed off during the briefing.
Honestly, Bill, one of these days Snelling's gonna notice.
No, he won't. Why do you think they put him behind a desk? The man couldn't find his own backside with a pair of pliers and a lantern.
Very funny. Anyway, it's a burglary at the Hambrook Flower Shop.
A burglary, eh? How dull. At least we'll have enough time to get a drink afterwards.
You seem awfully certain of that.
I am. In fact, I'd bet
The
the
voice
devil
was pretty
my
nice
head
so
that
far.
we're done within the hour.
Well, the devil's gonna be disappointed that his winnings are so meager. Ah, we've arrived. After you, Bill.
The city of New Brittany? Borough of Clemendelli? I don't fucking know how to pronounce that one. Oof.
Thank you. Keep the change.
And off he goes.
And so, our night of excitement begins.
You, more than anyone else, should know that there's rarely a dull night in
I have a
Chumley.
feeling tonight will be the exception. Until we get to the pub, that is.
Keep your mind on the case, Bill. Now let's get a move on.
Left click to interact with objects. The cursor. Okay.
Looks like they've had some trouble with vandalism.
Pretty much every business in this part of town has.
That reminds me. I should pick up a bouquet for Addie when we're done here.
Seems like you've been spending more time with me than with her lately. I sure hope she's not the jealous type.
Certainly looks cozy in there.
Plants have a nice way of doing that.
Glad this thing is lit. This isn't really the type of place I'd prefer to be at this time of night.
Don't worry, Miles. I've got your back.
I can't believe that thing made it all the way across the Atlantic in less than a week.
Don't scoff at the future, Miles. Pretty soon, we'll all be riding those things to work.
Especially considering Prince Harold is their big celebrity passenger.
Interesting.
Fordham, what are you doing?
I was gonna check inside this trash can for clues.
Miles, in the 15 years we've been partners, how many times have you found something inside a trash can that wasn't garbage?
Fair point.
I'm just having fun clicking the random stuff.
He's just pacing back and forth, muttering to himself.
Probably one of the patients from Riverview. Seems like there's more of them on the streets than in the asylum these days.
Okay, so left clicking will just let me walk. Okay.
Come on, Bill.
The animations are pretty solid, you know, considering the
Charming
art
little
style.
place, isn't it?
Charming, but empty. We need to find the owner.
Always so to the point, Fordham. If ever there was a better time to stop and smell the flowers.
I think I'll leave that to you, Bill.
With my allergies? Hardly.
Not too many left. Seems business isn't so bad around here.
Well, you know what they say. There are only 3 certainties in life. Death, taxes, and people taking advantage of sales.
I'm just having fun with this so far.
This is quite the
And this is
selection.
just the beginning.
Come over here and take a whiff, Bill.
Sure, if you don't mind me getting snot all over your coat.
Oh, no, not the Myers case all over again. On second thought, you can just stay over there.
I think what I'm liking is the dynamic here with these two.
These prices are pretty reasonable. The place I go in Worcester's clearly robbing me blind.
If you think those are bad, don't go near the flower shops in Leon.
Ring-a-ding.
Be right there. Oh, hello, gentlemen. I must say you caught me by surprise. I was preparing to close soon. May I help you find anything? The flowers in the center display are half price this week, and I have a special on chrysanthemums today. Or perhaps a custom bouquet for the special ladies in your lives?
I have no need myself, but maybe Adelaide would appreciate a little something. Eh, Miles? Those peonies in the corner look nice.
I'm afraid we're not here as customers tonight, ma'am. We'd like to have a word with the proprietor. Is he in?
I see. I am Cecilia Handbook, and this is my shop. What can I do for you, gentlemen?
I'm Detective Miles Fordham, and this is my partner, William Legere. We received a report of a burglary at your store.
A report? From whom? I never contacted the police before, and I didn't this time, either.
Really?
It was made anonymously. But are you saying this isn't the first time it's happened?
Correct. It's happened 3 times.
So the owner
But
didn't report it.
considering the police hardly care about the daily muggings and vandalisms around here, I didn't think they would be interested in something so trivial.
Well, we're here now, and we'll do all we can to help you.
We'll have to see about that.
If you wouldn't mind, Mrs. Handbrook, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Very well, Detective.
All right, let's.
Could you give me the details concerning the burglaries?
About 3 weeks ago on Monday, I noticed that my order of Easter lilies was missing. At first, I thought nothing of it. Sometimes certain types of flowers are unavailable or arrive in poor condition. These things happen.
The portraits are pretty nice.
Then 2 weeks ago on Wednesday,
Got
it
pretty good
happened
detail
again.
on them.
But this time, I noticed something rather odd.
Go on.
When I opened the shop, there were 6 crowns and 10 shillings on the counter. That's exactly the cost of 2 orders of lilies. Last Friday, it happened yet again. The lilies were missing, and there was payment for 1 order on the counter. I believe that someone has been breaking into my shop after hours, taking the lilies, and leaving money behind.
Oh, that's just
How
weird.
unusual. Have you noticed any suspicious characters lurking around?
Detective Fordham, this is Chumley. You can't throw a stone without hitting a suspicious character. And if you've noticed my window, you'd be aware that stones get thrown around quite a bit in this neighborhood. If you're looking for trouble, you're far more likely to find it out there than in here.
I meant if you'd seen anyone out of the ordinary near your shop.
Only the 2 men from the police who entered it tonight. That is most definitely out of the ordinary.
Oof.
Have you found any evidence of a break-in?
No, the front door is always locked. My assistant Trevor and I are the only ones with the key.
Really?
Are there any other points of access to the building?
The upstairs windows, I suppose, but I make sure to keep them locked, and neither of them have been broken.
Would you allow us to have a look upstairs?
Is that really necessary? I was just about to close up the shop.
It won't take but a moment.
Fine, I suppose you may, but please, don't dally too long.
Okay, so we'll be able to go do that in a minute.
So this burglar has been paying for the stolen goods?
That would appear to be the case, yes.
So they're not really stolen.
I really don't think this could even be considered a crime. That's one of the reasons I didn't bother.
I mean, it's still
reporting
breaking
it
and
to
entering.
the police.
And the other reasons?
Oh, I think I've already made those quite clear, Detective.
She don't like you. She do not like the cops, and I'm not going to argue with that.
You mentioned your assistant has the other shop key. What can you tell me about him?
His name is Trevor Hastings, and he has been working for me for the past 10 years.
Okay.
Do you trust him?
Implicitly. I've known him for ages, and he has been my full-time assistant since shortly after my husband died. You're not suggesting he had anything to do with this, are you?
Not at all. I would like to speak with him, though. Where might I find him?
It's Friday, so he should be on his way back from the docks right now. He'll be bringing my flower order within the hour.
But you were
Good.
about to close
We'll
up.
meet him here, then. If that's all right with you.
I suppose I don't really have much of a choice, do I?
Have you been in business long?
Yes, I opened this shop 30 years ago, along with my late husband, David. But the past 10 years, I've been running things on my own.
Don't you feel unsafe being here by yourself so late into the night?
Detective, when you've lived in this part of town as long as I have, it takes quite a lot to scare you.
I think that's all the information I need for now.
All right, Detective.
All right. Access the casebook on the top of the screen or right-click. Okay. Current case, honor among thieves. The Hembrook Flower Shop has been burglarized. Will the burglar return, or is this investigation just a formality? Find a point of entry upstairs, wait for Trevor Hastings, and speak to him. Okay. Missing lilies, and the points of entry are the clues. No suspects. No, there's no documents. Okay. And I can just save whenever. Nice.
Interesting choice of decor in here.
Perhaps it wasn't always used as a storeroom, although I can understand why it would have been converted.
Yeah, it is rather drafty in here.
Let's see what the portraits have.
A rather distinguished-looking gentleman.
Reminds me of Captain Snelling, if he ever smiled.
A young lady. Perhaps a relation of Mrs. Hambrook?
I can see the resemblance. Sort of.
I've seen this type of device before. It's a special container for growing plants. Specific temperature and
interesting.
water conditions can be adjusted. Seems to be empty right now, though. And judging by the dust, it hasn't been used in a long time, if ever.
It seems Mrs. Hanbrook isn't too fond of steam tech, or just doesn't understand it.
I would imagine that keeping a consistent temperature in here is important for the flowers.
When do you suppose this contraption was last serviced?
If ever.
Hard to say. Definitely not recently, if the dust buildup is any indication. A pastoral landscape. Definitely nowhere near here.
I've never much understood art, but it would be nice to see a place like that in person.
Is there anything else here? I guess we'll look at the crates.
Unmarked. But if the smell is anything to go by, this is where the flowers are stored when delivered.
I'll keep my distance then.
Seems to be the broken pot storage area.
Why not just throw them away, I wonder?
It's likely they're going to be repaired. I noticed some faint cracks in some of the pots downstairs.
Hey, better to reuse them.
I don't think this window would serve as a viable means of entry.
It's a nice view, though. You can hardly see the vomit and manure piles on the street from up here.
Oh, lovely.
The window latch. Securely locked.
Ooh.
Interesting. There's a gap between the window and the frame here. No wonder it's so drafty in this room.
Someone can get in there and just pull the lock up.
I wonder
What are you thinking, Fordham?
that it's time for an experiment. I'm going to need a tool, however. Something long and thin should do the trick.
Shouldn't be too hard to find something like that around here.
Okay.
This provides a means of escape from the top floor, or access to this window from the ground.
Okay, there's nothing else here to look at. Let's
I
see
have
if
a
there's
few more
anything.
questions for you, Mrs. Hambrook.
Very well, Detective. If it will help you conclude your investigation faster.
Do you have a wire?
Mrs. Hambrook, were you aware that there's a gap in the frame of the small upstairs window?
Is there? I only go up there to check that the window is locked. I've never noticed a gap.
Don't know how I would notice
Are
that big
you
ass gap.
suggesting that's how the burglar is entering the store?
It's a distinct possibility, but I have yet to figure out exactly how.
Well, I trust you'll come to a satisfactory conclusion, Detective.
I think that's all the information I need for now.
All right, Detective.
Okay. Do we have anything?
These seem to be part of the watering system for the flowers.
I haven't seen old piping like this in a while. Seems like someone's reluctant to upgrade.
I guess. It's not the bill.
Got a minute, Bill?
For you, Miles, I've got 5.
I've heard of honor among thieves. Have you ever known a thief to pay for stolen goods?
Perhaps conducting normal business
I'm glad I don't have
is,
to do any
just
like
too
voice
boring
work
for
tonight.
you.
It's nice.
You think he might be doing it for the thrill?
There could be any number of reasons. The best way to
Aw,
find out is to
thank
catch
you,
the
Maeve.
culprit and ask him ourselves.
How you doing tonight?
You ever miss living out here, Bill?
About as much as you missed stepping in that pile of horseshit last week.
I was distracted by that story you were telling me about your sister. How's she doing out west, anyway?
Well, she's not in the chum, so fantastic. Living here was about as fun as wearing a vest made of meat to a dogfight. I'm glad we both managed to get out. Oh, and by the way, Miles, you didn't do such a great job of cleaning your shoes.
That would explain all the funny looks I've been
Should be
getting.
sleeping. It's 4:30 a.m. and I am having good time and alcoholic drink. Oh, okay. I mean, as long as you're drinking responsibly and relaxed, it's not a problem being up at 4:30.
Still feeling rough, Bill?
Yes, but I'll feel better once this case is finished and we can go down to the Angel for a pint or 4.
Hair of the dog?
No better medicine.
What's your impression of dear old Mrs. Hambrook?
I like her. Good old-fashioned, tough-as-nails Chumley woman. Reminds me of my mother.
School
Your mother
night.
was never quite so stubborn.
I get
Why do
you.
you suppose she's so reluctant to accept our help?
It's a chum thing, Miles. You wouldn't understand.
The gap in the window upstairs is intriguing.
Do you think it might be the point of entry?
Or should be if teacher wouldn't be
Indeed.
sick.
I just need to
Ah.
find something long and thin.
Well, I hope
to
your teacher
confirm my
feels
theory.
better at least.
I think you were born with something like that, Miles.
You're disgusting, Bill.
I know. That's why I always do the dirty work.
When's the last time you took any time off?
That's a good question. What year is this again?
I think we've both been working a bit too much lately. Addie's been wanting
Alethea,
to go visit her mother in
hello.
Dixie.
Glad to see
Maybe we can all
you.
go.
That sounds nice, but I wouldn't want to be a third wheel
It's
on
a
a visit
Sunday.
to your in-laws. Unless... Would Adelaide's brother be there by any chance?
You're incorrigible, Bill.
It's one of my finer qualities.
Oh. It's okay. I might have misinterpreted that, because I was reading...
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message. I love you. Now, back to our show.
You're technically in class? Well, then you're technically getting a shout-out, because I'm just that lovely.
I was just trying to mute one, but I don't know which one to mute. Current one that I'm on, you guys. But the thing that seems
You want to mute the stream. But yeah.
Just having some tech support in that one, huh?
Yeah, you double up.
Yeah.
But I hope class is going well.
Got any opinions on the upcoming election?
I'll just be glad when it's all over. Seems like the last few months have been nothing but people giving opinions and telling me what to do without a moment's peace.
I know what you mean. I already saw some kids putting up Atwood posters down my street.
I already drew mustaches in all the ones on my street.
Handlebar?
You know me too well.
I always thought of Atwood as more of a Van Dyke type of man myself.
I can see that. Yeah. Well, there's something to do tomorrow.
Alright.
Let's get back to it.
All right.
As much as I like talking to Bill, we gotta get this going. Yeah, it's fine. It's mostly collab work. Work on our stuff. Okay, that's good at least. Alright, we gotta go this way. How do I get to the... So this way, maybe? I'm also doing it remotely because fuck Mondays. Hell yeah. Okay, maybe I wasn't supposed to go outside?
This is definitely the right place.
Is there another way to get to the fire escape? What am I missing?
The window latch.
I gotta get over there somehow. Let's talk to Bill.
Bill?
What's going on, Miles?
You enjoying this weather? It's a nice evening for it, not too hot. I find a bit of fresh air always helps clear out the mental cobwebs.
Well, shit.
It's just too bad the air in the chum is about as fresh as a week-old corpse. At any rate, it'll be winter before you know it. The whole city will be shut down, and we'll be digging bodies out from under the snowbanks.
Always something to look forward to. Let's get back to...
All right.
There's gotta be something for me to get that I'm missing. We got in the... See if there's anything else in this crate.
Unmarked.
I'll keep my...
Okay, so that's not different. I gotta get to the fire escape somehow, but it's not telling me.
I'll let you know if I have any...
This is my one big problem with point-and-click adventure games, is sometimes you get completely lost in what the fuck you're supposed to do or how you're supposed to do something.
Looks like they've had some trouble with vandalism.
Pretty much every business...
Well, that's not gonna work. Is there a door to the back that I'm missing? There's no items.
Aha! This hook is exactly
Well,
what
here I
need.
go then.
Mrs. Hanbrook, may I borrow this hook for a few minutes? It's crucial to our investigation.
Is that so?
Yes, I promise I'll put it back as soon as I'm done.
Please do, Detective.
Alright. So we go back up, and we can climb out.
The window latch. Lamplight City, and all... Good. Bill, it's time for our experiment.
And what is this experiment going to be exactly?
Simple. I'm going to see if this hook can
Oh,
get
for
me
some
inside
reason
the
I now
shop.
connect your voice to, like, detective games. I mean,
Rather dark out here.
Watch
can't
your
say I've never
step
played
there.
them. I have done
This
some Sherlock
experiment of
Holmes.
yours isn't worth a broken neck.
I'll be fine. Now then.
You know, I've never
please
streamed
close
LA
and lock
Noir.
your
I haven't
window,
had
Bill.
that game in years. So Indiana Jones and the Secret of Atlantis. Nope. Not today. But I do tomorrow. Glad to see you. This is Lamplight City. A lovely point-and-click adventure game from a few years ago. And I'm in.
Well, I'd say this is fairly incontrovertible proof that the building can easily be broken into without arousing suspicion.
Where'd you learn how to do that anyway?
You taught me, remember?
Nah. Are you sure it was me?
Positive. We were a few pints in at the Angel about 5 years ago, and you decided I
I
should
know,
learn how
but
to
it's
pick
old
locks.
habits.
What else have I taught you how to do while drunk?
That would
Besides,
be
you're still
telling.
Moro in the Discord server.
Bill?
What's going on, Miles?
Let's
Okay,
get back.
so nothing new to that conversation, so let's go down. Can't argue with my logic now, can ya? Oh, there he is.
Ah, Trevor.
I don't know why I thought
Evening,
Trevor would be
Cecilia.
younger.
I've got the order ready to bring in.
Trevor, these are Detectives Fordham and Leger. They say there's been a report about the burglaries, and they're here investigating.
I only did it because I think it's been going on too long. As much as you want to, we can't handle this ourselves.
We can discuss the matter later. In the meantime, the
Ooh.
detective would like a word with you.
I'll be needing to bring in the flowers first, if that's all right.
You sound like
Otherwise, some hooligans likely
Ken
to run
Shabibo
off
when
with
you
them.
bring up
My
logic.
partner will keep an eye on your flowers. Bill, would you mind?
Let's say, hypothetically,
glamour
that
of police
I
work.
use your original Twitch name, and it's still the name you have in the Discord server. So logically, that's the
Now,
name
Mr.
I would
Hastings,
use when talking
if I
to
could
you
ask
in
you a
other
few
places.
questions?
Yeah.
Go on, then.
What can you tell me about the recent burglaries?
I wish Cecilia had contacted you a lot sooner. She's a damn fine woman. But sometimes I think she'd rather jump in a rose bush than ask for help. Had to take matters into my own hands. This needs taken care of, and we can't do it on our own, as much as Cecilia would like to. Anyhow, alls I know.
So far, the
is
voice
someone's
works
been
pretty
making
solid.
off with some flowers and leaving money behind. No idea
They're
who it
clearing
could be,
Chris.
how they're getting in, or why they even bother paying.
My wedding
My
P
day.
word.
If you robbed a place, you did it the right way. It's a sad state of affairs when even burglars don't do their jobs correctly.
What the
Do you have much experience with burglary, Mr. Hastings?
Now, I never said that, detective.
Have you noticed anyone or anything suspicious around here recently?
Nothing but the usual roughnecks, ragamuffins, and drunkards. Like I said, it's a
ragamuffins.
real mystery.
Could you walk me through the process of your deliveries?
Of course, there's no great science to it. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday afternoons, Cecilia gives me her list of flowers to pick up from the wholesalers.
Okay.
I head over to Gas Cone around sunset when they get their shipment, and I give them her order. They load up the crate, I pay for it, and then I lug it back here.
How long does that take?
Between moving the crate and getting it across the river on the ferry, a couple of hours. Usually the store's closed by then, so I use my key to get in and leave the crate inside for Cecilia to open in the
Up on
morning.
the second floor.
That's all there is to it. Told you it wasn't very complicated.
Do you ever leave the crate unattended during that time?
No, sir. Never more than a minute. I may be old, but I got good eyes. I'd see if there were anything amiss. Besides that, I check to make sure the crate is still sealed when I drop it off. I'm not about to let Cecilia down by being careless.
Okay. Doesn't take his eyes off of it. It's always checked to make sure it's still sealed.
How long have you been working for Mrs. Hanbrook?
Been about 10 years now, I reckon. I used to help with deliveries now and then when it was her and David, her husband. But after he passed, she offered to make me her assistant. Unfortunate way to get it, but I needed the work. Used to be I had a job at one of the airship yards, but they let me go after I was injured by one of those newfangled steam machines. So the offer came at a good time. Besides that, Cecilia needed looking after, even though she'd never admit it.
I think he
If I'm
likes
being
her.
honest, we're both getting a bit long on the tooth. Not sure how much longer we'll be keeping this up, but as long as I'm upright and breathing, I'll be bringing these crates along, even if it is murder on my back.
I admire your work ethic.
I've got a job to do. Not enough people these days seem to respect that.
Thanks for your time, Mr. Hastings. I'll let you get back
These
to work.
damn teens in the
Appreciate it, detective.
1840s. Don't know how good
If you
they
don't
have
mind,
it.
detective, I still need to check the crate before I bring it in.
Of course. Thank you again for your help.
Learn anything?
Possibly. I may have an idea.
Do you?
Ah, you're being cryptic. That's always a good sign. But if you've got a plan, let's talk about it.
All right. Let's chit chat.
Got a minute, Bill?
For you, Miles, I've got 5.
Any thoughts on Mrs. Hanbrook's assistant, Trevor?
Yes, I feel sorry for him.
Why? He seems to enjoy his work.
Nah, it's not that. He's obviously smitten with Mrs. Handbrook.
See?
She won't give him the time of day.
What?
I was the
You
only one
only
viewing
saw him
that.
for a few moments. How in the ether did you get that impression?
The way he looked at her, the way he spoke when he confessed to contacting the police. Shall I go on?
No, that's fine. I see what you mean.
Really, Miles. You'd be surprised what you can learn from people if you just look at them.
Why bother doing that when I've got you to do it for me?
I mean, I made the same observation. I could be a detective. But these two are cops, so,
Right.
you know.
Based on what we've been told in our experiment, I can only conclude that our burglar is using the upstairs window to get into the shop.
So, what do you propose we do about it?
It's happened repeatedly over the past 3 weeks. On one of the delivery nights.
Which tonight's a
Since
delivery
it has
night?
yet to occur this week, and today is Friday, logic dictates it should be tonight.
So we settle in and wait to see if the burglar returns? Catch him in the act?
Exactly. It's our best chance of solving this before the trail goes cold.
And I was really looking forward to getting that drink at the Angel tonight, too.
I know, but it's as you said yourself. There'll be plenty of other opportunities. Besides, forbearance is good for the soul.
Adultery was a crime back
Spoken like
then that
someone who
included
truly
teens
has no
fucking, not to
idea
mention
how
my
they-
grandmother was socially
I'm sure I'll
ostracized
get the
from
hang
her
of it one of
community
these
because
days,
one of her
especially with
boyfriends
your
put his
expert too.
hand on her knee
Okay,
when they were
let's go have
sitting
a
on a
chat with
bench and
Mrs.
passers-by
Hamlet.
spread
I'm
the
sure
rumor
she'll be
that they had been
delighted to know we're
banging.
spending
Only
the
my
night.
grandfather would go out with her after that, and he was her cousin. Jesus Christ.
Damn. Forgot to bring my deck of cards again.
At least it's quiet up here. I'm surprised we didn't go
Well,
deaf
to be fair,
after
her
last
husband's
time we did
dead,
this.
What?
I said,
so it wouldn't be adultery.
Oh, right. Your sense of humor remains on point.
Miles, have you ever considered leaving all this behind?
What, you mean quitting the force?
The force, the city, going off and seeing what else is out there, you know?
I'd miss it too much. Wouldn't you?
I was thinking I might visit Harley out west. She makes it sound like a dream in her letters. Wide open spaces, fresh air. I know I'm a city boy and would probably miss New Britannia's filth and squalor after a week, but...
You should do it. Change of scenery never hurt anyone.
Well, again,
Plus, it's much easier for you than it is
they're
for
not
me.
talking about
I've
like
got a family
him
to
wanting to
consider,
like
after all.
actually bang her. They're just talking about
Ah,
wanting to court,
right.
even at their
Oh,
age.
no, I didn't.
But
mean it
again,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
It's
this
just-
is
I think I heard
1844
something.
America.
Oh, no.
Bill. Stop! Police!
Damn it! He's got up the fire escape. We can corner him on the roof. Stay close and keep me covered.
Just completely lost his hat back here.
Bill!
Stay back, officer. Got a knife.
Ready your pistol, Fordham.
But you're too close!
I trust you, Miles. Your pistol, now! There's really no need for this, officer. I respect your desire to uphold justice. Mine is more important. If you let me go, I won't come back. And we can all forget this ever happened. Don't listen to this lunatic, Miles. Take your shot before things get worse.
Look, we've caught you red-handed. Put down the knife, let my partner go, and give yourself up.
No! I'm not going to jail. Do you know what they do to people in there?
Yes, I do. If you cooperate, I'll see if I can get the judge to ease your sentence.
I appreciate your tactics, Fordham, but this really isn't the time.
All right.
No! Bill! Oh, God! I am so sorry, my friend. I am so
Hey.
sorry.
Hey, what's up? Also, I shot my partner. Shit. But yeah, enjoy the lurk.
Wake up, sunshine.
I thought that's what I called you.
What's the matter? Have a rough night?
Overdid it on the soporific. Why do I feel like I've had this conversation before?
I'm just glad you're in the mood to converse again. Seriously, you took so much of that snake oil last night, I was starting to think you wanted me quiet for good.
It's no personal slight. I just need some quiet time, or I'll go insane.
I get it. We all need our space. I know it's not easy, but there's really no need.
Not easy. Bill, I've been hearing your voice since you died. You don't shut up unless I take that accursed medicine. I'd say that qualifies as a bit more than not easy.
Yeah, well, how do you think I feel? You think I enjoy being trapped here, listening to you whine about how hard your life's become? You at least still have yours.
So that's part of the twist of this game. Our partner talks to us in our minds. And he's been dead for 3 months now. So that'll make things interesting.
I'm losing my grip on reality, and it's all because of you.
Believe me, I know. It's not a pretty situation. But the bottom fact is, you're stuck with me. So you can either keep living this way and ruin your life even more than you already have, or you can do as I've told you and try to figure out a way to let me move on.
Right. For the 1000th time, you want me to find the burglar from the flower shop.
Yes, exactly.
I still don't get how that's going to help.
I can understand your confusion, considering it was you who killed me. But the point remains. You wouldn't have been in that situation in the first place if
Well, at
not
least
for
he isn't
him.
strictly
Once
blaming
the criminal has
me
been
for
caught
it.
and is in custody, we'll both get what we want.
Justice?
More than that, you'll have that elusive thing you always wanted to give others. Closure.
You do realize the trail's pretty much frozen at this point. Our man has seemingly vanished into the ether.
That's no excuse not to keep trying. I know the cases Upton's been giving you these past few months haven't been the most thrilling, but they've at least kept you active.
True.
So just keep at it. Something has to turn up eventually. Unless, of course, you want to wind up in Riverview Asylum. And if that happens, I'm really not going to keep quiet.
Fine.
Good man. Now, I suggest you stop talking to thin air, or Adelaide's going to start wondering if you've gone mental. Or just maybe she'll stop wondering.
Very funny.
I'm certain a permanent indentation in the shape of your rear is starting to form on that thing.
It's kind of interesting how our here is starting to look a lot more like Benedict Cumberbatch and Sherlock. And am I the only one that's noticed that, like the disheveled hair, the kind of get up? It kind of looks like him. You know.
Wouldn't you say it's time for a change of clothes, Miles? You've been wearing that coat for who knows how long.
So? Addie gave it to me. Besides, it gives me character.
Right. Brooding detective in a long black coat. That's never been seen before.
What are you talking about, Bill?
Never mind. Pretty, but I'm glad I don't have a sense of smell anymore. That's a fun little apparatus Adelaide got you. Very soothing.
Watching it spin long enough puts me right to sleep.
I'd say that's really more the soporifics doing. I always like that self-portrait of Adelaide's mother, even if the eyes do always follow you around the room.
Oh, I thought that was Adelaide for a minute.
Cozy little winter getaway. That would be a welcome change from the winters in this city. It's admirable just how organized Adelaide is. Maybe someday the same can be said about you. Don't worry, Miles. I don't watch when you and Adelaide are having your private time.
It would be nice if you didn't spend the whole time humming.
I thought you appreciated some romantic music.
Okay, that got me.
Adelaide's mother certainly enjoyed pressing flowers. Do you suppose she does more of it now that she's retired?
Oh, God.
That poster brings back some memories.
Well, I mean,
That's
he
from around the
can't
time
go
you two
anywhere.
met, isn't it?
Yes, back when Addie was singing at the Angel.
I mean, what else is it supposed to do? At least it's 1844, so you're not hearing brown chicka meow.
Well, look who's awake. Ready to rejoin the living?
Very much so.
You were talking in your sleep again.
Did I say anything interesting?
Do you ever?
You have to admit, she's got you there.
How are you feeling?
A touch groggy. I think I took a bit too much of the soporific last night.
That's what I thought. When you went for your after-lunch nap, you'd barely gotten breakfast down. I saved you some bread and cheese if you're hungry.
Thank you, but I haven't got much of an appetite.
You really should regulate your doses more carefully, love. I'm sure dull senses and an empty stomach aren't much help to your work. By the way, a message arrived via courier for you this morning. I put it on the table along with today's newspaper.
Okay.
Thank you, dear. Addie,
Yes, dear?
Let's chit-chat a minute.
how's work going? You have any appointments today?
Yes, one this evening. It's been a bit slow lately, but pretty soon it'll be debutante ball season, and all the Gascon grand dames will need their hair done. You sure I can't convince you to let me give you a little trim? You've been looking awfully scruffy lately.
What's the point? I've got no need to go peacocking around town. You're the only girl for me.
I like it when you're clean cut. It brings out your eyes.
The way my eyes have been looking lately, I think it's best to keep them hidden. How are you? It feels as though we haven't seen much of each other
I
these
like
past
this
few days.
conversation
I've
style
been
because at the very
fine.
least you don't have
Addie,
to focus
you're
on
not a
everything
very
else
good
around
liar.
him.
What's on your mind?
I'm worried about you, Miles.
I know, but I've told you, there's no need to worry about me. I'm all right.
You're not all right, Miles. I may not be a good liar, but you can't fool me either.
I am all right. What do I have to do to convince you of that?
You could start by throwing out that sleeping medicine. It's turned you into a different person.
I needed to sleep, Addie. I'll become an even worse person without it, believe me.
I know Bill's death was hard for you. It was hard for all of us. But whatever it is that's bothering you, you know you can talk to me about it. That's what I'm here for.
I know, my love.
This is.
Your support
I
means
think
the
what I'm also
world to
liking
me.
is that it feels like
I
there's
need
some
time to deal
nice
with things.
character
That's all.
developing with these
It won't
conversations,
always be
especially
like
with
this,
the main
I
characters
promise.
so far.
Making promises you can't keep, eh, Miles? That'll end well.
I've still got that song you sang last week at the Rutherford stuck in my head. You were amazing.
Thank you, Miles. That was a lovely evening. I always enjoy it when Joseph brings out his violin and we can relive the old days.
Certainly nicer than when he spends hours telling the exact same story whenever you visit.
They were very glad to see you, you know.
It's probably the most fun I've had in months, to be honest.
They've invited us for dinner again in a couple of weeks, if you're feeling up to it.
I hope I am. What's that you're reading?
It's a collection of short stories by James Penstroke. It was just published earlier this month.
Any good?
Oh yes, I love his work. He's been publishing a new serial in Brentwell magazine. I can't wait to
I
read
think
it.
what's interesting
Perhaps
here
we both
is
can together?
since
think
this
you'd
is
enjoy him.
not the
Lately, I
normal
haven't been able to
Americas that we're
concentrate on
seeing,
a page for more than
you know,
5
of
minutes
an
without nodding
interracial
off.
couple in 1844.
That is a pity.
That's not something you would normally
I'll let you
see
get
in
back
the
to your
U.S.
book.
at that time. So I'm interested in seeing like what else has changed with this alternate North America, just alternate U.S. It's interesting.
Remember how much time Adelaide had to spend convincing you to sit for this? At least these days, with ferrotype tech advancing the way it is, these portraits can be done in just a matter of minutes. It might do you some good to look in the mirror a bit more often, Miles. Adelaide's father certainly had an amazing life. Imagine being the personal barber to the Prime Minister and his family. The gossip and secrets he must have heard.
Really? That
Your
is
book
interesting.
collection has always astonished me. Heaven help you if you ever decide to move. Building those model ships was a good way to pass the time between cases. Hopefully it'll be a while before you get enough time to build another one. It's been so long since you used that desk. Did you even notice when Adelaide got rid of the chair?
Oh yeah, the message. Let's check the newspaper first. The message can wait. Oh wow! Remembering the HMS Legea? This Tuesday marks the 3-month anniversary of the tragic crash of the HMS Legea. The Legea was preparing to make its second transatlantic voyage when disaster struck. The airship burst into flames shortly after departing from England, crashing into Foster Park. All 300 passengers on board, including HRH Prince Harold, were killed. Oh, as were 54 bystanders in the park. Royal Maverick Airlines conducted an investigation and ruled the crash an accident, citing the ignition of a gas leak. Despite this, rumors of sabotage persist. Royal Maverick vowed to instill stricter safety regulations going forward, and that the Legea's sister ship, the HMS Lenore, would be extremely safe. Upon its completion, there has been public outcry and protests at the end. That's on page 7 continuing. Okay. That happened around the same time, if not the same night, that Bill was killed. Because that was the ship we saw in the background when we were outside the flower shop. It said that the prince was on it. So, and it took me a second for HRH, His Royal Highness, to register. Gascon Grand Dame dies. Madame Laura Dupree, age 44, died on Saturday of apparent natural causes. Born Laura Chesterton in London in 1800, she and her family moved to New Breton in 1804. In 1818, she married Colonel Andrew Shepherd, a royal officer 30 years her senior. The marriage lasted 1 year, ending with Shepherd's death during a trip to Piedmont. Sorry, the text is really still kind of small on my screen because of the resolution, so it takes me a second. Okay, here. Shortly after, Dupree married Benjamin Montgomery, a doctor. They had 2 children, Juliet in 1820 and Andrew in 1821. Sadly, Benjamin died of tuberculosis in 1830. 5 years later, Laura married Jean Dupree, a banker. Dupree was known throughout the community as a great humanitarian for a policy of exclusively employing humans rather than using automated service machines in her manor. Funeral service to be held, okay. Okay, Valentia, we'll still be here. Don't worry. Hope the school stuff's still going well. Aethericity. It's real and it's coming, says scientists. The existence of aethericity, a substance said to possess both energetic and restorative properties, was first put forth 2 years ago by Dr. Bennett Clark. His presentation at the annual Vespucia, I think I pronounced it right, science conference at the University of New Breton was extremely divisive. Dr. Clark claims that aethericity exists in small amounts on Earth, but is mainly located in the celestial region commonly referred to as the aether. Excuse me. Imagine electricity, but hundreds of times more powerful. In addition to powering our lights and machines, it can also significantly reduce the effects of aging and heal the sick. The sky will no longer be limited. He described Dr. Clark as yet to secure significant funding for his experiments, as his harshest critics have dismissed him as a crackpot. However, there are those who believe that, and then again, page 9. And this cost 1 copper, by the way. Just notice that up here. Second bizarre murder baffles police. New Breton police are investigating a murder in Chumley, similar to one which occurred in that borough just last month. Though many details are confidential at this time, we are able to confirm that both victims have been male and died from gunshot wounds. Well, one 3 months ago was me. New Britain police declined to reveal any further details and denied rumors that the murders are being committed by a serial killer. We have no reason to believe that these murders are related, said Chief of Police Reginald Snelling. We have our finest detectives on the case and hope to find whoever perpetrated these awful crimes very soon. In the meantime, we ask the citizens of New Breton, especially those in Chumley, to remain vigilant and report any and all suspicious activities immediately to the police officer. To a police officer. Coverage will continue as the story unfolds. Okay. Fordham. A big case is coming, which I think will interest you. Meet me at is that Roman? Coffee house for more details. I guess see Upton?
Upton says she's got a big case for me.
Does she go into any more detail than that?
No, but then you know Upton. Always on a need-to-know basis. Especially since she's been giving me these cases under the table.
To be fair, they haven't exactly been anything of note.
True, but she's still sticking her neck out for me. I can understand why she's so secretive about it.
I think she just misses having you around the station.
Poor Connie. With you quitting and me dying, she must be bored stiff at work.
Anyway, I'm supposed to meet her at the Ruined Coffee House.
Ruin.
That can't be right.
It's not like Constance to make mistakes. She must have gotten in somehow.
Guess I'll head over there and see what she's got then.
Okay. Then let's go.
I'm heading out for now.
Take care of yourself out there.
Oh, so we do have an overmap. So that's the residence. Worcester, Hodgman River, Chumley, Gascon, Fitton Swamp. I'm not sure exactly where this would be. As far as like where in the US, maybe like a New York area? Maybe Jersey? I don't know.
Ah, the Rouen Coffee House. Worst Java in Lamplight City, but there's no better place to overhear all the rumors and gossip in town. Just make sure you don't get too close to the other patrons. Discretion was never your forte. All that metal and tubing just to serve a hot cup of coffee? She's running back and forth at lightning speed. Clearly, she dips into the coffee supply.
There's Constance.
If it isn't my old friend, up to no good.
Hello, Fordham. It's good to see you.
How did you get them to let you in here?
It's rather simple, really. The owner and I have an understanding. He pretends women are allowed in coffee houses, and I don't report his unsavory business practices to Chief Snelling.
Sounds like a good deal.
Oh, wow.
What sort of unsavory business practices are we talking about?
Oh, we haven't got time to get into that now. But take some advice. Don't order anything that isn't water.
I got your message. What's going on?
It's time for you to join the big boys again, Fordham. Your days of finding lost cats are over.
Oh,
so stop teasing me and tell me what it is already.
But the cats need
Do
help.
you know Madame Laura Dupre?
It does.
Laura Dupre. She's one of those Gascon Grand Dames, isn't she?
That's right. I'm surprised you've heard of her. I didn't think you cared about those types of people.
Newspaper.
I don't, but Adelaide has several of them as clients. She gets paid to pretend to care about their lives, and I get to hear the sordid details.
Madame Dupre died the day before yesterday. Her funeral was held this morning.
My condolences.
But halfway through the service, the mourners heard a loud knocking coming from inside her coffin.
Wait, what?
She wasn't dead?
Apparently not. Nearly interred alive, although her doctors
Wow.
said she had no pulse. Dupre's son Andrew was quick to suspect foul play. He accused a man named Albert Martin, and the police arrested him.
So where do I come in? Sounds like the case has already been solved.
I strongly suspect that Martin is innocent, especially considering the talk of him having used black magic on Dupre. The police feel they have enough evidence to convict, so they're not bothering to investigate any further. You're going to look into it and see if I'm right, then find the person who was really behind this.
Okay.
Has Madame Dupre recovered from her ordeal?
I'm afraid not. Apparently she's been catatonic since they pulled her out of the coffin.
How unfortunate.
If you'd like to question Mr. Martin, he's being held at the Bow Street Jail. Or you could take a look around his house. It's at 451 Compton Street in Worcester.
And the Dupre home?
That's at Emmeline and Comtesse, right across from the old Angeline convent. It's also possible you might run into the police during your investigation, since they're technically still on the case.
I'll have to be careful
Thanks
of
for the
that.
warning.
Interesting.
Was there anything you wanted to talk about before you get started?
Yeah. Let's ask him
Yes,
questions.
actually, I had a couple of questions.
Let's hear them then.
How are things going with you?
Work is hectic as usual, and I'm spending my day off in here. But considering my home life is still a shambles, maybe this is the best place to be.
I'm truly sorry about that.
Don't be ridiculous. If it hadn't been for you, I'd still be chained to that philandering bastard.
Oh.
It hasn't been easy, but I'm much better off this way. Trust me. Anyway, work gives me something to focus on. I'm sure you can relate to that.
Yes, and I'm grateful to you for getting me these case leads. I know you're taking a risk to do it.
It's the least I can do. How about you? How's Adelaide?
She's fine.
Again, I'm
Nothing
liking these
between us
interactions.
Could be
It makes
improved,
the
if I'm
world
being
feel a
honest.
bit more
The less said about
lived
it right
in.
now, the better, I think.
I'm sorry to hear that. You can talk to me about it if you need to, although I'm probably not the best person to ask for relationship advice.
Don't suppose there have been any developments regarding Bill's murder.
Unfortunately not. The department hasn't exactly been focusing on that case as a priority. The general attitude is that it was an accident. Bill died an honorable death in the line of duty.
Would have been nice if they bothered saying that at the funeral.
And of course there are still those who blame you for his death, Snelling being the first and foremost.
But the man who really caused Bill's death is still out there.
Yes, I know, but it looks like you're on your own if you want to find him. My hands are tied. I can only ask around so much before the higher-ups get suspicious. Just don't give up. New Britannia may be a big city, but the criminal world is surprisingly close-knit. If you find
Britannia.
any
I
connections
gotta
or
pronounce
leads
that
during your
right.
other cases, be sure and let me know. I'll do the same if I find anything out.
See, she has a priority straight. You could learn a lot from Upton.
I wanted to go over the case with you.
All right, let's just go over this
Okay,
real quick.
what have you got?
All right.
What do you know about Madame Dupre?
Only what I've read about her in the paper. She's been married thrice, which I can empathize with, and she's extremely rich, which I can't.
What makes you think this Martin fellow is innocent?
The fact that the only evidence is the word of Dupre's son. I've seen this sort of thing thousands of times, and I'm sure you did too. They're just looking for a scapegoat. You're the only person I know who can put it right.
Okay.
Upton's intentions are noble, but she has to realize this is just a drop in the ocean.
That's enough about the case for now.
Okay,
That's it, I think.
then you'd better get back to it.
All right. I'm glad this is letting me know when there's nothing else to talk about. so
Well,
let's
I'm
keep,
not
like,
entirely
wondering.
sure how this is going to help you find the flower shop burglar, but I suppose freeing an innocent man is a worthy diversion.
Oh, how lovely.
Self-Portrait as a Desperate Man by B. Calvert. A bit like looking in the mirror, isn't it, Miles? The Specialty House Brews. These are definitely not coffee. The Specialty... Just one of many patrons contributing to the oppressive thug in here. Asleep at a coffee house. One of life's little ironies.
See if there's anything we can hear.
He and his friend are having quite the conversation, and I bet it's really boring. Best avoid that one. He looks like he might tip over at any moment. Reminds me of when I was alive. Ah, good times.
All right, let's go ahead and, I guess, head out. Let's see. All right, we have a couple of choices here. We've got the Bow Street Jail and then Compton Street. Might be better to check out his place first.
Ah, Compton Street. We're not too far from Restaurant Row. When's the last time you ate, anyway?
Please, let's not add eating to the list of things to nag me about.
Okay.
I'm glad that Coulson still uses horses. I don't trust the new self-driving cabs.
Self-driving?
I'm glad that one of Atwood's re-election posters, sorely lacking a mustache. Go on, Miles. Fix this grievous injustice.
Not now, Bill. There are more important things to worry about.
Spoil sport. Considering how many eating establishments are in this neighborhood, the butcher picked a fantastic spot to set up shop. I do notice a distinct lack of stray cats in this neighborhood, though.
Huh. Well, okay then.
I'm sorry, I have no time for visitors today.
I need to speak with you about Albert Martin.
Albert? Are you with the police?
No, I'm a private investigator.
Oh, I don't think you can help. I'm sorry.
Sorry to bother you. I'll be on my way.
Good day to you, sir.
So, we're not gonna do that just yet. We'll come back. For now, let's go talk.
Fordham? Is that you? You look like something the cat spat up.
Hello, Giles. It's lovely to see you too.
What brings
walk
you out
animation.
of jail? I thought you'd quit being a detective.
I'm looking to speak with Mr. Albert Martin.
Oh, I see. Well, that's him in the first cell there. I'd say what needs saying as quick as you can, though. He's headed for the gallows in the morning.
Damn, that's
What?
quick.
Already? But what about a trial?
No trial necessary when there's black magic involved. This little half-breed's already sealed his fate.
Ooh.
Such a charming fellow, isn't he?
Oh boy.
Mr. Martin?
That's
Who are you?
that's the
My lawyer?
1840s America
No,
I
I'm
know
actually
and
here to help you. The name's
worry
Miles
about.
Fordham. I'm a private investigator.
How are you going to help me?
I'm looking into the attack on Madame Dupre. I believe you're innocent.
Oh, thank heaven. That's music to my ears.
Hey,
Do you mind
drifting.
answering
How
a
you
few
doing?
questions for me?
Friend, if it means saving me from the noose, I'll tell you nothing less than God's truth.
Interesting choice of phrase for someone accused of using black magic.
How you doing tonight?
What can you tell me about Madame Dupre?
What's to tell? She's a twisted, evil woman who got what was
I'm
coming
wide awake
to
when
her.
I should be
Whoever
sleeping.
attacked her
Yeah,
deserves
I
some
kind of
sort
figured that's the
reward
case
for the
considering how late
service
it
they're
is where
doing
you're
the
at.
community.
So it wasn't you then?
I hope everything's
No,
okay at least.
I'm innocent,
You know, aside
Mr.
from not
Fordham.
being able to sleep.
You have to believe me.
I'm afraid you're not making that very easy right now,
There
Mr.
you go.
Martin.
You do that tomorrow off. That's a plus.
Do you know anything about the circumstances of Madame Dupre's supposed death?
No, I had nothing to do with it.
Then why did her son accuse you?
Probably because he's just as ignorant as she is.
What I meant was, how did her son know to accuse
Yeah, I just took a nap earlier.
Have you
That was
had
a little
any
too
contact
effective.
with the family before?
Nah, been there.
Yes, you could say that.
Uh-oh. That gleam in his eye says it all.
You see, I'm involved with Dupre's daughter, Juliet Montgomery. Dupre doesn't like that one bit. She even threatened me once.
Is that right?
Yes. She might have everyone else fooled, but that woman is the devil incarnate. I can't understand how something so heartless and cruel could have spawned someone as pure and, loving as my dear Juliet.
He's not really helping his case much, is he?
Tell me about Juliet.
She's wonderful. Such a beautiful, kind soul. She hasn't come to see me yet, but I'm sure that's because of all the confusion in the last few days.
I'm totally sure that's what it is.
Juliet wouldn't believe for a second that I would be capable of harming her mother. I'm sure of it.
How did you two get involved?
We met at the university.
Your classmates?
Hardly. They wouldn't allow someone like me to enroll there. Juliet studies botany. I work as an assistant in the greenhouse. We started talking, and she actually treated me like a person.
Yeah, you have.
To
This was
everyone
actually
else,
one
I
of
was just
the
the
videos
boy who
Scarf
fetched
did
the
was on
test
this game,
tubes. But Juliet actually
which is
wanted
one of the
to
reasons
hear
I'm
what
doing
I
the
had
game,
to say.
because I watched
Had
the video
same
and was
taste
more
in
interested in
books
it.
and art. Didn't just treat me like some piece of gardening equipment. She even shared some of her notes with me after I told her I was interested in botany as well. From there, things just got better.
Got better?
I don't expect you to understand or approve, but that's how it happened.
Oh, you'd be surprised. It doesn't sound too different to how my wife and I got together. Except I was a detective and she was a singer at a bar.
And she's...
Yes, Mr. Martin. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. How often is Juliet in the greenhouse?
Every weekday, but
Indeed,
I doubt
indeed.
she's
Speaking of
there
which,
now.
for those interested, Scarf's new video is out now for Star Wars Dark Forces.
Somehow, I wouldn't bet on that.
So you should all check it out.
How did you end up in here?
I was just minding my own business at home when the police showed up with no warning. They made some outrageous claims about me putting some sort of curse on Madame Dupre. The next thing I knew, I was here. Oh, Mama must be beside herself with worry. I just hope she's all right.
What does your mother do, Mr. Martin?
She helps people.
Yeah, you should give it a watch.
Be just a bit more specific.
She provides spiritual help to those who seek guidance.
She's a spiritualist.
It was a good video. I liked it.
Not quite. She's more like... How can I explain it? You know how
Did
a
a Soul
priest
Hackers
holds
1
mass
stream?
to spread the word
Okay.
of God to the people? My mother holds services and calls
Oh,
on the
yeah,
spirits
definitely.
to
24
walk
hours isn't
among us,
enough.
providing healing and guidance.
So she's a religious leader?
If you want to give her that title, it would be the most appropriate.
And does this religion of yours have a name?
You'd probably know it as voodoo, but it doesn't mean what you think it does. People are so quick to judge and portray us as evil when they have no idea.
Let's talk about voodoo.
So you practice voodoo, do you?
Are you making fun of me, Mr. Fordham?
No, of course not. Apologies if it seemed as though I was. It's just that the police are convinced that black magic was involved in Madame Dupre's apparent death.
That's because that idiot son of hers knew about my mother, and like all bigoted fools, assumed that we're involved in devil worship and the black arts. But I can assure you that this is most certainly not the case, Mr. Fordham.
Of course, I didn't mean to imply.
Just forget it.
He's
That's all for now.
investigating.
Oh, wait, before you go,
Yes?
would you do me a favor? Would you go see my mother at our house and give her a message?
You're at 451 Compton Street, right?
Yes, that's right. Could you tell her I said St. Rock's dog is barking?
I suppose I could do that, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Whatever happened to a simple I love you?
Having Bill in our head is interesting. I'm gonna just lurk and hopefully get some more sleep. And yeah, not a problem. Please, take care of yourself. Also, real quick before I do forget, people should go follow Drifting Light, who streams as well.
Tears in my eyes, goddammit.
Aww.
I hate this game. I love this game, but I hate this game.
Just an emotional moment.
He's watching you like a hawk. Looks liable to toss you in one of his cells if you try any funny business.
No, but I don't know if you've got any clips. However, people should go follow over at Morrow's channel as well. Sorry, Devil Summoner Marie.
I bet that's a direct line to the police department. You should make a rude noise into it.
I have to get used to that still. I'm so used to Morrow now.
Not much of a view. But then it's not as though people in here are meant to have many luxuries. Either crime is low, or the police aren't doing their jobs very well.
Second one. It's definitely the second one. I don't know either. We can go to the university later.
You again. I told you I have no time for visitors.
You're Albert Martin's mother, aren't you?
Who are you?
Miles Fordham. I spoke with Albert, and he told me to give you a message.
Oh, please don't tell me I have to remember
He said to tell you that St. Rock's dog is barking.
Oh, I see. That's good. That's very good. You better come in, Mr. Fordham. Standing on the street just won't do.
It's a Rasputin dancing and then doing a triple backflip into a giant nesting doll. I don't know why that won't show up either. That's weird.
Welcome to my home, Mr. Fordham. I am Sabine Martin. I hope you understand that Albert has nothing to do with this awful business. Would you care for some tea?
Well, her tune certainly changed when you gave her that message. I wonder what it meant.
Yeah, I'm curious
No,
too.
thank you, ma'am. I won't be staying long.
A rather unremarkable book collection, I'm sorry to say. That statue, on the other hand, gives me the willies. The Virgin Mary. I must admit she was the last person I was expecting to see in here. It's some old man with a dog standing at the center of a crossroads.
Okay.
That's meant to have any sort of significance. It's completely lost on me.
Interesting.
For all we know, that rider is some sort of demon. He looks like he's having a good time, at least.
And
Interesting.
pots.
Those pots look as though they've been wrapped in tobacco leaves.
May have been. Let's talk to Sabine.
I've got a few questions for you, Mrs. Martin.
I'll try to answer them the best I can.
Do you think your son is capable of doing what he stands accused of?
Never. Albert wouldn't harm a fly.
That's what the mothers always say.
Why don't you tell me a bit more about him then?
He started working at the university laboratory a few years ago. I was so proud of him. The university is quite selective, you know. The same for its staff as well as its students.
Yes, I've gotten that impression.
I always told Albert to be careful around those high society types, but that one always thinks with his heart first.
Is she sure that's the correct body part?
God damn it, Bill.
He's all the family I have, Mr. Fordham.
Do you know anything about Madame Laura Dupre?
I never met her in person, but I know plenty about her.
Like what?
Nothing fit for polite conversation.
Good thing this
Mr.
isn't
Fordham.
polite conversation.
But I can tell you this. Laura Dupre has far more enemies than she lets on.
Does that include you or your son?
It most certainly does not.
What do you know about Juliet, Madame Dupre's daughter?
I know Albert was smitten with her, no matter that I told him to be very careful around her kind. Those rich Creole families don't care much for people like us. To them,
rich Creole
we're
families.
just a help. But from his telling, Juliet sounded to be a decent soul. It's a shame the same can't be said for her kin.
If you'll indulge my curiosity, what exactly was the meaning of Albert's message?
Saint Rock is the patron saint of dogs, as well as the falsely accused. If he sent the message along with you, it means he trusts you, and that I should too.
Oh, I see.
Perhaps you were hoping for something more? That's just the way of mysteries, isn't it?
How do you mean?
The thrill of the unknown is always more exciting than the truth. Mystery makes life a little more interesting.
True. But if mysteries were really better unsolved, I wouldn't have a job. What exactly is it you do, Mrs. Martin?
I provide services to the public.
A delightfully vague answer if there ever was one. Give me something a bit more specific, please.
I'm a Mambo Asugwe. That means I'm what you call a voodoo queen. I'd give you a detailed explanation of the responsibilities and duties of the role, but your time would be better spent clearing my son's
That
name.
is fair.
Can you tell me a bit more about your religious practices?
What I can tell you is that the ignorant whites in this city are afraid of us for no reason. Voodoo is not about black magic or dark spells or turning people into the living dead. It's about healing and life. Naturally, there are misguided souls who may try to use it for ill purposes, but I am not one of those.
Sounds like you hit a sore spot. Might be a good idea to stop pressing her on this angle.
I think I'll take you up on your offer for tea, after all.
All right, Mr. Fordham. You'll have to give me a few minutes to heat up the kettle. I'll be back shortly.
Amazing! Even more voodoo stuff back there. Why would she keep these particular items hidden from view?
Good question.
They obviously have some importance to her. I'd suggest asking, but I don't know if that's the best idea given how sensitive she seems to be about the subject.
Back just in time.
The tea should be ready in a few minutes, Mr. Fordham. You can help yourself once it's done.
You're very kind, Mrs. Martin.
Do we just talk?
I've got a few questions for you, Mrs. Martin.
I'll try to answer them the best I can.
Let's see if we got any new ones.
About that back room of yours.
I beg your pardon?
I don't know about this, Miles. Is this really a road you want to go down?
Actually, never mind. I misspoke. Thank you for your help.
My pleasure.
The Virgin Mary.
I don't think I have a choice.
That pattern resembles a flower. Too bad it isn't an Easter lily.
I'm afraid that room is private, Mr. Fordham. I must respectfully ask you to not go in there.
Of course. My apologies.
I might have to actually talk to her about it. Should I or shouldn't I? See, I don't know.
She's not going to be much help right now. That's
Well, what else is there to do?
a rather unremarkable. Interesting. Those pots look as though they've been wrapped in tobacco
Buddy,
leaves.
see you in the morning.
Aren't you going to have your...
I'm afraid I just remembered something important I need to look into. Perhaps later.
Suit yourself.
Let us go to the university. Take a look around there.
Huh. It's as though we've journeyed to the tropics. I don't know how you can stand to keep that coat on in here.
Wait, you can feel the heat?
Those flowers are definitely not native to this area. They seem to be thriving in their glass tubes, though. One of those cute little Japanese trees that are all the rage these days. Personally, I don't see how giving a tree a haircut is meant to be relaxing. Judging from that pipe, that contraption must be used to keep the plants hydrated. It looks like a giant earwax remover to me.
Ah, so this is Juliet.
Pardon the disturbance, but are you Juliet Montgomery?
I am. And you are?
Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator looking into the events surrounding your mother's attempted murder.
Ah, of course.
Have you got time to answer some questions?
Yes, that shouldn't be a problem.
Do you know anything about the events leading up to your mother's premature interment?
No, it was a complete shock. Mother seemed to be perfectly healthy and full of life. Then, without warning, she was dead. Or so we thought.
I take it you were glad to be wrong?
What a ridiculous question. Of course I was. What sort of heartless beast would celebrate their mother's death?
Oh, I could name a few. Juliet definitely didn't shed any tears over Madame Dupre, though. That much is obvious.
Miss Montgomery, you don't have to lie to me. I'm not going to assume you tried killing your mother just because you weren't upset by her death.
Ooh.
I felt terrible about it. You have to understand, I didn't want her to be dead. I just felt a sense of relief. Please, don't think me a horrible person, Mr. Fordham. It's just that Mother and I aren't currently on the best of terms.
Let's discuss why.
Why don't you and your mother get along?
We've never completely seen eye to eye on anything. She always disapproved of anything I did. When I was younger, she used to forbid me from speaking to the servants. I saw no harm in a kind word or smile, but she warned us that if we were too familiar, they would take liberties. Then when I declared my intentions to pursue academic studies, she really went livid. In her opinion, a university education was tantamount to a chastity belt. What sort of man would want a wife with a head full of useless facts, she'd say.
Personally, I've always found intelligence to be quite attractive.
I assume your mother didn't approve of your involvement with Mr. Martin?
A rather forward question, Mr. Fordham. But you're not mistaken.
Okay.
I'm not sure how she managed to find out about Albert and me, but when she did, she nearly had a conniption. As I'm sure you can understand, the situation at home has been less than perfect in the last few months. I'd really rather not dwell on it.
So at the very least, it isn't like she was treating him as a plaything. Like you see with this with sometimes, at least with some stories involving like the upper class and lower class, as it were.
You mentioned you were friends with the servants.
Yes, that's right. I didn't care that they worked for us. Everyone needs a friend.
Did your mother ever mistreat them?
Mistreat? No, I wouldn't say so. She was always very stern, though, and quite cold. If they ever shirked their duties or misbehaved, they were punished, of course, but nothing out of the ordinary that I ever saw. Most of the servants are my friends, but I'm closest with Amelie, the kitchen maid. Mother wasn't too happy about that.
Amelie, okay.
Amelie's been around as long as I can remember. She's like the aunt I never had.
Let's talk about Albert.
What can you tell me about Albert Martin?
I'm not quite sure where to begin.
The beginning?
Why not start by telling me what your relationship with him was?
We met here at the greenhouse. He was working as an assistant, sweeping and cleaning and fetching things for the students. My focus was on academics, naturally. I wasn't too interested in romance. In fact, I've had to turn away nearly every single one of my classmates. But with Albert, I found myself intrigued. I noticed him stealing glances, lingering just a bit too long after bringing over a book or flask, sweeping the same patch of floor near me over and over again.
So it was obvious.
It wasn't too long before I had him bringing me tools and equipment, regularly.
I see.
As I mentioned, Mother was an absolute terror when she found out.
Do you believe Mr. Martin did what he stands accused of?
I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't seem like him, but Albert can be quite passionate. If the police believe he's to blame, then they must have a reason for it. It wasn't any secret that he hated Mother. Perhaps I should have ended things sooner. It was satisfying to know that Mother was displeased, but I never imagined it would lead to something like this.
Well, it's nice to see she's all heart.
Yeah, that's changing my opinion a bit.
So, you study botany. Fascinating subject.
Are you an admirer of plants, Mr. Fordham?
My wife has the green thumb in the household, but I do have a certain appreciation for them.
Plants are amazing things, just like people in many ways.
How do you mean?
They need attention and care. Ignore a plant, and it will wither. Give it too much attention, and it will become sick. Plants have many things to teach us, and I greatly enjoy learning from them.
These plants are impressive.
Check out these plants, yeah.
Are they yours?
Yes, I've developed a method to make them extra healthy and strong.
They're larger than anything I've ever seen. How do you do it?
Ah, but I can't reveal my secrets, Mr. Fordham. The world will hear about my discoveries soon enough.
Really?
Incidentally, do you know anything about Easter lilies?
No, I don't keep or grow those here.
No more questions for now.
Then if you don't mind, I have work to do.
Alright, that's all for that, I guess.
Quite the assortment of plants they keep in here. I wonder if they serve any purpose or are just meant to look pretty. I've never seen a flower grow that big. What do you suppose they're feeding them?
Don't think there's anything else here. Alright, let's go check the estate next.
You are aware this is private property, sir?
Yes, I'm Miles Fordham, private investigator. I'm looking into the incident involving Madame Dupre. I assume this is she?
You assume correctly, Mr. Fordham. My apologies, but I thought the police had already made an arrest.
That's right, but there's still some doubt as to the man's guilt. May I ask your name, sir?
I am Dr. Fellows, Madame Dupre's private physician. I'm afraid she is in no state to be answering questions at present.
Are any other members of the family home?
Her son, Mr. Montgomery, is in the entrance hall. I had to give him a mild sedative to settle his nerves, but he should be all right to converse.
You gotta give him a sedative?
And if you don't mind, I'll have a look around. Doctor, may I ask you a few questions?
Please, be my guest.
Oh, good. At least he's not completely shrugging me off. He looks like a butler.
Tell me about Madame Dupre.
She is a
Am I wrong? He
great
just looks like
woman
he'd be the butler.
and a pillar of the community. I cannot imagine why something like this could happen to her, or how someone could be capable of such a barbaric feat. Though this ordeal has been terrible, I am confident she will overcome. The power of her physical constitution is surpassed only by her strength of character.
Do you think he'd say the same things if he wasn't on her payroll? I highly doubt it.
What were the circumstances surrounding Madame Dupre's supposed death?
Her son, Andrew, sent for me a few days ago after finding her unconscious and unresponsive. As I was unable to detect a pulse or breath, I had no other recourse but to declare her deceased. I judged that Madame Dupre had likely suffered a sudden cardiac arrest. It was most shocking to be proven wrong at a funeral.
I can imagine. Where was the funeral held, by the way?
St. Denis Cemetery. Madame Dupre wished to be interred in the tomb of her father's family, name of Chesterton.
Perhaps I'll go have a look.
Okay.
How long have you been Madame Dupre's private physician?
5 years, and I've been practicing medicine for the past 30. I still spend a couple of days a week treating patients at Riverview Asylum.
The asylum
Oh,
again.
good. Maybe if you're lucky, he could be your doctor someday.
30 years is quite a long time. You must have seen some incredible advances in the field of medicine.
I have, yes. I can only wonder how things will change with all this talk of ethericity. There's speculation it can be used to restore necrotic tissue and instantly heal broken bones, among other things.
Yeah.
If you ask me, a good bloodletting will never go out of fashion.
Oh, that's wrong.
Did you examine Madame Dupre after she reanimated?
Of course. Physically, she appeared to be in fine health aside from minor dehydration. I found no marks or bruising on her body. Mentally is a different story, however. She's remained in an unresponsive state ever since.
Do you have any opinions on what caused Madame Dupre to appear dead?
The most likely cause I can imagine is some sort of poison or toxin.
That does lean correctly, I think.
What leads you to believe Madame Dupre was poisoned?
The symptoms she experienced were consistent with prior cases of poisoning I've studied. And didn't the young man arrested have ties to some kind of black magic cult?
No.
There have been reported cases of these practitioners using poisons to make people appear dead, then commanding them to do their bidding. I recall reading about a man in the West Indies who was given tetrodotoxin, that's the toxic secretion from a pufferfish, declared dead and buried. He appeared alive in his village some 20 years later.
Doesn't that seem a bit far-fetched to you, Doctor?
Facts are facts, Mr. Fordham. Surely someone in your line of work can appreciate that.
How's that a fact? That's
Those
a
are
rumor.
all the questions I've got for now.
I hope I answered them adequately.
Ugh. Less doctors like that in this day and age is nice, but we still have some not very good doctors.
Oh, hello. Are you the new servant?
No, I'm Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator looking into your mother's attempted murder.
How did you know I was her son? Oh, of course. You must have sensed it with your detective's intuition. I should have guessed by that giant head of yours.
Oh boy.
Are you feeling all right, Mr. Montgomery?
He is out of it.
Yes, I'm fine. Much better than when those pesky police officers were snooping around earlier. But I like you, Mr. Fordham. I can already tell you're not like them at all. Please, call me Andrew.
Yes, well, I'll have a look around, and I may need to ask you some questions. Do you think you can handle that?
I can. In fact, I really look forward to it.
If the good doctor gave him a mild sedative, I'd hate to see what the stuff you take would have done to him.
Jesus Christ. First thing I gotta check the parrot.
Parrot? Must have cost the Dupre's a cool copper.
Who's a pretty bird?
Raise a pretty bird.
Holly, want a cracker?
No, thank you. Rock.
Pieces of 8?
Bye, matey.
Who's a pretty bird?
Rock. Raise a pretty bird.
So long, birdie.
Rock. Bye-bye.
I'm easily amused.
Dupre looks like she's holding on to that poor bastard for dear life.
Let's go to the kitchen. Talk to the cook. I think she was a cook. Yeah, Emily.
Some kind of water dispensing device, maybe? I was never very good at finding my way around the kitchen.
Why am I not
Certainly
surprised?
No shortage of bowls or food preparation items around here. Yeah, it looks like gumbo's on the menu tonight. I wonder how it compares with Upton's special recipe.
Pardon me, miss.
This might be in Louisiana then.
What? Who are you?
I'm Miles Fordham. I'm investigating the attempted murder of Madame Dupre.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir, but I'm very busy. I can't help you.
Amelie, please. I need to know what you know about Madame Dupre.
What? How did you know my name?
Juliet told me about you.
Miss Juliet?
Yes, I spoke to her at the university. She mentioned you two were friends.
Yes, that's right. She's always been so good to me.
Look, Amelie, I'm just trying to get some information. And I have a feeling you can be very helpful if you just let me talk to you.
All right, fine. But do it as fast as you can.
Of course. Expediency.
Tell me about Madame Dupre.
Oh, I really shouldn't, sir.
Oh, that's not good.
It would
sign.
greatly help my investigation if you did.
Madame Dupre was kind enough to hire me as her cook. It's hard to get jobs in the city. Lots of people want their servants to use those new machines. My sister's brother-in-law got half his leg blown off by one of those new ovens. He's lucky he wasn't killed.
Jesus.
So I'm plenty happy working here doing real people's work. But Madam can be difficult sometimes.
Difficult? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
No, I said enough.
That's not a good sign at all.
What do you know about Madame Dupre's supposed death?
All I can tell you is that whoever did it really hated her.
Do you know Albert Martin, the man accused of the crime?
No, I'm sorry.
What can you tell me about Andrew?
He ain't so bad. Kinda spoiled, but he mostly cleans up after himself. Has a whole private part of the house, but I think he only uses one room. Better for me, way less to clean.
That's one way to look at it.
What do you know about Juliet?
She was always so kind to me and the others, but her mother don't like that one bit. Still, she sneaks down into the kitchen to keep me company some nights. Even though she's a good soul, I think part of her does it just to spite her mother.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Are you the only remaining servant here?
No, there's another one, Marcel. He's the new gardener. I haven't
Really?
seen him in a few days, though. Not since before Madam's incident.
Thank you, Amelie. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
So we have a
Now,
missing
please,
servant.
Let me get back to work.
Looks like the type of spices you'd use in a stew. Most likely paprika or turmeric. Nice variety of reds and oranges. It's times like these make me wish I could still eat.
All right. Let's head upstairs. I want to talk to him last because he is loopy as shit.
A horrible little porcelain figurine. Madame Dupre didn't strike me as the type to play with dolls.
All right, let's go to the doorway, I guess.
Goodness, someone went overboard with the flowers. This brings back some memories, doesn't it?
Ones I'd rather forget.
Oh, what's on this workstation? Oh!
The science of pharmacology. I'm sure it's riveting stuff. It looks as though this folded piece of paper is being used as a bookmark. I hope remembering what page they were on wasn't too important.
Not anymore.
Looks like it's a letter for Andrew.
Andrew closed as the agreed upon fee. I wouldn't be able to concentrate on exams without this help. Dr. Tennyson charges an obscene amount. Thank goodness for good people like you with home pharmacies. I'll look for them in the usual spot under the Weeping Angel. Joshua. P.S. Sorry to hear about your mother. I'll wait a few days before passing by. I'll look for them in the usual spot under the Weeping Angel. Interesting.
These should be useful.
Oh, I can just pick up tweezers. Okay.
I can only wonder what sort of potions Andrew concocts in this thing. Dr. Tennyson's Vigor Pills. These would make a sloth act like a hummingbird. Is this really the best that medical science has to offer?
Sadly, at this point in time, yeah.
What in the ether is that thing supposed to be? Actually, I'd rather not know. Decadent. A gentle reminder that everyone's time is slowly running out.
Lovely.
Oh, look! It's one of those new audio cylindergraphs. I can't quite wrap my head around how they can manage to get sound out of a wax cylinder. It must be a nice place to sit and listen to music.
You know, it really is interesting thinking back to like the early days of the cylinder and like the earliest recordings that we have of like the human voice and stuff like that. We've come a long way, that's for sure. A harpsichord. I'll have to do something with this later, I'm sure.
I don't know much about art, but I see Madame Dupre and I at least have similar tastes.
I guess.
Why would anyone need so many flowers in one room?
Perhaps it's to mask the odors of those chemicals on the workstation.
That makes sense.
Could be.
There's something with that harpsichord. It lets me play the keys, so there's something to do with those keys at some point.
Ah, the Gascon docks. The artist definitely took some liberties. You can't see a single person getting stabbed.
Excuse me. Ah.
They're all empty. How unusual.
Not to mention disappointing. Nice little cottage. Looks like it would make a nice cozy spot to retire. If I hadn't already retired from life, that is.
Look, I'm sorry.
Locked. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised.
Juliet really likes plants and flowers, doesn't she? I've never seen so many beauty products together in one place. Doesn't look like they get used much, though. Well, someone's fancy. I never liked these types of beds much. They feel too claustrophobic.
I've never had
I always thought they had a certain
that.
appeal myself.
Yes, you would think that about a bed that lets you shut out the rest of the world.
I don't know if I'd enjoy a bed like that. Maybe I'm weird.
A much younger Madame Dupre. I suppose that's a nice alternative to a mirror. That's an old uniform, from the turn of the century by the look of it. This must be Madame Dupre's first husband. Kinda strange that she'd still keep his portrait in the bedroom.
I mean, I guess. The Parson of Crook Hall, Covenant of the Damned, and other short stories. The Chestertons, A Brief History, 1680 to 1760, 1760 to 1810. Choice and Consequences, Equestrian Mesmerism, Buffalo Skinner, Wild Man's Tale. Let's check out.
Now that one sounds interesting. I was always a fan of Bedletter's short stories. One of those melodramatic romances. I read it a while back, and I couldn't tell you a thing about it. Doesn't appear to be very brief if there's 2 volumes of it. Wonder if anyone outside the family would find this even remotely interesting. Choice and Consequence. Who in their right mind would write a book about that? I don't even want to know what that one's about. I read that one last year. If you ever wanted to know the intimate details of a buffalo's anatomy, I highly recommend it.
There's something involved.
Choice and...
These books are important, but not sure how.
Let's see if there's anything in these drawers. Damn, nothing but personal effects and more stationery.
Don't forget the first rule of detective work. If there's nothing useful inside, check underneath and between.
Ah, yes, of course. Thanks for the reminder.
Now this is intriguing.
I'm not going to warn you again, you disgusting... Oh boy. don't know if I'm actually allowed to say that one. Stay away from my daughter and my house or I'll kill you myself. Yeah, so I'm gonna skip that one word right here. I'll let you read it yourself. I'm just to be safe. Just because of the tone of it is mainly why I'm not gonna say it. Alright, let's go talk to the doped fiend in the front room here.
I have some questions for you.
Oh, goody.
What can you tell me about Madame
Those
Dupré?
sideburns.
She came back from the dead. I couldn't believe it. My mother, resurrected, just like Jesus.
Yes. I heard you're the one who accused Mr. Martin of the crime.
This person's having way too much
I
fun.
already talked to the police about that. I don't want to think about it right now.
Let's talk about you.
How do you typically spend your days, Mr. Montgomery? What are your interests?
Oh, a little of this and a little of that. Nothing as exciting as what you do, I'm sure. Ooh, tell me, do most bad people start crying when you catch them? I'll bet it's a laugh riot to see them sobbing away.
No, Mr. Montgomery, most of them don't.
Well, that's a real shame, isn't it?
Right.
What can you tell me about your sister, Juliet?
I'm reminded of a famous quote, Mr. Fordham. Parting is such sweet sorrow. Let us part on good terms and avoid the subject altogether, please.
Ah. Not
That's a rather
positive.
exotic bird you've got.
I like looking at him. He has such pretty colors, doesn't he?
That he does.
You know, I've always wondered what he might taste like. Is that bad, do you think?
I really couldn't say, Mr. Montgomery. Thanks for your time.
No, thank you for yours.
This is ridiculous. He won't be of any use in this state. If it takes him as long to snap out of it as it takes you, we'll be waiting around here until noontime tomorrow. There has to be a way to bring him back to his senses. Maybe that quack outside knows something of
Yeah,
use.
let's go talk to the doc. This guy is like fucking useless. More so than he probably is regularly.
Doctor, may I ask you a few questions?
Please be my guest.
May I ask exactly what kind of sedative you gave Andrew?
A simple tincture of laudanum. It's what I give all my nervous patients.
He seems a bit out of sorts.
Hot? Meat kettle.
It can have that effect, but it usually wears off in half a day or so.
Is there a way to bring him out of his condition sooner?
A stimulant would have the opposite effect, but I wouldn't recommend mixing the two. It could have potentially harmful effects on his heart.
Oh, of course. I wasn't planning on doing anything of the sort. I was just curious.
It's cute how you act like you have no experience in these matters. It's almost convincing.
Those are all the questions I've got for now.
A stimulant.
I hope I answered them adequately.
Let's go talk to the lovely lady in the kitchen, shall we? Maybe she's got something we can use to give him a little pep in his step. Some coffee, maybe.
Stick around. I may have more questions for you later.
Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere.
I was wrong. Well. Let's go back. Yeah, let's go back and let's talk to the daughter real quick. Or the cemetery. Let's go to the cemetery because we had the thing about the angels.
St. Denis Cemetery. Best view in the city. It's just a shame none of the residents can enjoy it. I think I'm buried around here somewhere. Wonder how the old gravestone is doing these days. This just goes to show you can't take it with you, so you might as well spend it all on a giant tomb.
Sorry about that phone call. We keep hearing noises. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I was correct. I was hearing noises. It was the kids. Sorry about that. I heard Lavender Town and it's a graveyard. True, you did. That's my phone.
If only that police officer wasn't guarding the tomb, you could go in there and raid it to your heart's content. Nice view of the river from up here. You can hardly even see the cloud of smog over the chum. Looks like people have left markings and offerings in front of this tomb. You may think it's a silly superstition, but I wish you'd leave a bottle of Bollingworth at my grave every now and then. Plaque says Harrison. Doesn't look very opulent, so I guess it doesn't belong to anyone important.
Well, I guess we can't go through here, so let's check out the university again. Talk to her because we had that message. See if she has anything to say about it.
Hello again, Miss Montgomery. Mind answering a few more questions?
Hello, Mr. Fordham. Not at all.
What can you tell me about your brother?
Andrew, Mama's precious little boy. If you've met him, you pretty much know all you need to. He's had the whole world handed to him on a silver platter. But he's in for a rude awakening someday. Mother can only provide for him for so long.
No more questions for now.
Then if you don't mind, I have work to do.
Fucking useful. Okay. Should we go back? Let's go to the jail.
Could I ask you some more questions, Mr. Martin?
It's not like I'm going anywhere.
Albert, did you hate Madame Dupre?
The woman is cruel, sadistic, and bigoted. When she found out about my relationship with Juliet, she sent me a letter threatening to have me killed if I got near her house or her daughter. So yes, Mr. Fordham, I hated her, but even so, I love her daughter. I wouldn't be so cruel as to take Juliet's mother away from her, even if she hated her too.
I beg your pardon?
Juliet and her mother didn't get along at all. I never asked why, but it was obvious there was something going on.
Intriguing.
That's all for now.
I guess we go back and talk to her again? It has to do with her, so I mean...
She's busy. That's not...
Okay, so not now. Let's go ahead and go back and talk to the mother. See if that tea's
Welcome
right.
back, Mr. Fordham.
She's not going to be much help.
Okay, so not here. Coffee house, maybe. Let's see what Upton has to say here.
Can we talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
Yeah, here we go.
I wanted to go over the case with you.
Okay, what have you got?
Madame Dupre's son isn't being very helpful.
Is he refusing to talk?
More like incapable. The family doctor has him pretty well drugged to the gills. I need to find some way to perk him up.
Well, you know, we are in a coffee house.
I have a feeling it will take something a touch more powerful than coffee. That's enough about the case for now.
Okay,
That's it, I think.
then you'd better get back to it.
Well, that was enlightening. Maybe we have something in our place. Let's go home.
I'm here.
Welcome home. So what's this big case Upton's got you on? Another missing pet?
No.
If only. A Gascon Grand Dame was attacked and almost interred alive.
You mean Madame Dupre? The one whose obituary was in the paper?
Yeah.
The very same.
Goodness, that does sound serious. Tell me if there's anything I can do to help. I know you haven't been feeling your best lately.
You're always a help to me, Addie. Though I assure you I have this well in hand.
I certainly hope so.
What a loving relationship.
Addie?
Yes, dear?
Do you know anything about Madame Dupre?
I've read that the Dupreys are one of the few wealthy families that exclusively employ real people to serve. Rather commendable, don't you think?
Yes. It makes it even more baffling why she was attacked.
Yeah,
have you
sure.
heard any gossip from your clients? Anything about who might have wanted to harm her?
Nothing. She's held in the highest regard by the other Grand Dames. If she had actually died, I'd have expected them to petition her canonization.
I'll let you get back to your book.
So that's a no. That's not helpful. Fuck.
I shouldn't be gone too long.
I look forward to your return.
That's nice. Okay, so... Now what? Can't go there.
Nothing else?
What am I missing? Is it something at the manor? Oh, the angel!
This fountain probably looked nicer when it was working. But right now, it's just a breeding ground for mosquitoes. There's an angel on the fountain, but it doesn't look like it's weeping. This would probably be too risky a place to hide something anyway. With her vast sums of wealth, Madame Dupre could probably feed a starving family for the next 30 years. Instead, she uses the money to keep her hedges trimmed. Her eyes are glazed over, and she's got a vacant, expressionless stare. She seems completely oblivious to her surroundings. If we didn't know she'd been buried alive, I'd say she was just exhibiting the typical symptoms of your average rich person.
Oh, so I can just go to the map without having to do that. Got it. Alright, discover the source of Juliet and her mother's rift. Find a stimulant to bring Andrew to stupor. Investigate the Chesterton tomb. And stuff people to question. A useful tool for reaching things too small for human hands to reach, or for picking those pesky long eyebrows. Aha! I'm dumb. I am the dumb. We have a tonic right upstairs. The get up and go juice.
The bottle is empty.
Fuck. Okay. Shit. Maybe if I talk to him about it.
I have some questions for you.
Oh, goody.
Aha.
I found this bottle of pills upstairs. Are they yours?
Yes, I take those from time to time when I'm feeling tired.
You seem to be out.
Yes, that is a pity.
Where do you usually acquire them?
Oh, they're available by mail order only. I'll have to remember to request some later.
Damn it.
Thanks for your time.
No, thank you for yours.
Okay, so mail order only. Anything to say, Birdie?
Holly, want a cracker?
No, thank you. Rock.
Pieces of 8?
Aye, matey. Rock.
So long, Birdie.
Rock. Bye-bye.
Maybe I talk to her about it. Maybe she'll know something.
Stick around.
Don't.
Damn it, nope, that's not it.
Judging by the amount of food this family probably eats, washing the dishes must take forever.
Okay, so not here. There's no other angels. Maybe there is.
This fountain probably there's an angel on the fountain, but it doesn't look. This would probably. This quack has. Her eyes are glazed. If we didn't know.
Okay, so there's no one else here to talk to at the moment. I need to get him stimulated, and I don't mean it that way.
I don't know.
Let's go back. Oh, not there, not there. Sorry, I'm at the coffee shop.
We haven't anything to discuss right now, Fordham.
He and his friend. Reminds me of. Judging by the sooty apron, this man is either a metal worker, a chimney sweep, or just really lazy when it comes to washing. A young woman holding a guitar. Completely the wrong way, I might add. If this is how they store their coffee beans, it's probably a better idea to ask for tea. She's running back. Asleep. Not in much of a hurry to clean up in here, are they? All that metal and...
Okay, so not here either. Let's go to the jail.
Nothing else.
Fucking Christ.
He's watching you.
Welcome back, Mr. Fordham.
She's not gonna... There's no way you'll be able to look behind that curtain while Mrs...
I don't know how to get her out right now.
Or rather, that pattern? Interesting. For all we know, that... The Virgin...
There's nothing else here on screen. I may have to look up what to do next, because I don't know. Here's useless. Can't do anything there. Let's try the daughter again.
She's busy. Those flowers... Quite the...
Is there anything here I need that I'm missing? Alright. Alright.
I've managed to survive the wild streets of New Britannia.
Welcome home.
Let her read it.
Maybe something in the bedroom. I mean, it's the only place I haven't actually gone back to.
Remember before you started taking that medicine and you could actually read a book for more than 10 minutes before falling asleep? You were a lot more fun to talk to back then. Oh, wouldn't you say it's time for...
So? Addie.
Right. Brute.
What are you talking...
Never mind. You should have let me be buried wearing my hat. At least it wouldn't be gathering dust like it is now.
If I'd done that, it would be dust right now.
Heh. Fair point.
Oh, I guess he had a,
the Havisham case. Our first time out
cremation.
as partners. First in a long line of successful cases. It's nice to have a memory of the good old days.
What am I missing? Okay, so...
Enjoy your reading.
Don't.
Okay. Let's go back and look at that piano. Sorry, harpsichord. Actually, let's look at the rooms.
Locked. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised.
I have tweezers, don't I? Wouldn't that work?
Let's have a look through these papers. Aha.
Oh,
What's this?
found something. Aha! Alright, from the 8th of September, 1844. Dear Miss Montgomery, unfortunately I've been informed of a series of burglaries in the neighborhood near the room you're renting from me at 76 Lane, or Forest Lane. As a precaution, I've gone ahead and changed the locks. Please find and close a copy of your new key. I hope it doesn't cause you too much.
So,
nice.
Juliet is renting a room in the Chum. That's certainly interesting.
Uh-huh.
I can't wait to see what sort of dirty secrets she's got hidden away in there.
Well, then let's go explore that, shall we? In fact, let's just hit the map.
Egad! Is this someone's room or a jungle?
Quite a fascinating array of plants in here. Not to mention the machinery on the table.
Seems like Juliet is very interested in getting extra credit. That's quite the book collection. It almost puts Adelaide's to shame.
All impeccably cataloged and organized as well, which makes the two missing volumes stand out even more.
Ooh, what are we missing?
Etheric pressure. What a bunch of nonsense.
Well now, this is interesting.
Etheric effects, flora. Larger, more vibrant flowers. Chlorophyll production seemingly triples. Root systems strengthen, increasing capacity to absorb nutrients. Conclusion: plants thrive from exposure to small etheric currents. Sorry, the cursive is fucking with my brain a little bit here for some reason. Further experiments are needed to determine the long-term effects. Etheric effects, fauna. Brain is clearly affected, inducing a trance-like state. Muscle control lost. Wing flap is predictable patterns. Conclusion: if animal with greater cognitive ability, including humans, are exposed to specific quantities of ethericity, they will go into a stupor, appearing I can't see that. Unresponsive, sorry, it's smaller on my screen, or dead. So, that is interesting.
Oh, would you look at that? Oh, would you...
If I hit it again, will it change? Will they drop? They just changed back.
They're just doing what flies do best. Just a bunch of technical nonsense. I can't understand a word of it.
Interesting.
I have no idea, nor desire, to know what purpose that thing has. Those are the most vibrant flowers we've seen in a while. I bet they smell extra strong.
Yes, they certainly do.
It's a good thing you're the one with the nose.
The nose knows.
They appear to be scientific scribblings. I can't make heads nor tails of them.
That makes two of us.
They appear to be...
That makes two of us.
I wonder what sort of fertilizer or growth tonic these plants are getting. Whatever it is, it's definitely working.
See if it'll
That's
acknowledge
quite
us
the
again.
book.
All impeccable.
Nope, doesn't acknowledge
I'm
us. See if the
guessing they're
crates.
probably full of more scientific equipment or plant-related stuff.
Alright, let's check the floorboards. Nothing. It's very small. Let's check with her.
Hello again, Miss Montgomery. Mind answering a few more questions?
Hello, Mr. Fordham. Not at all.
Do you know anything about ethericity, Miss Montgomery?
You surprised me, Mr. Fordham. I had no idea someone of your profession would know or care about something like that.
I've found that it pays to be open-minded.
To answer your question, yes, I am familiar with the theory of ethericity. In fact, it's recently become a focus of my studies.
Has it now?
Despite what the newspapers have been reporting, it's already possible to access it in small quantities from the air around us.
Have you conducted any experiments?
No, my research has been purely theoretical. I don't have the means to do anything practical, I'm afraid.
Well, you're lying.
Deceiver, dissembler, her trousers are alight. I can't understand why Juliet might not want to make her research public, though.
Miss Montgomery, please don't lie to me. I know you've been conducting experiments with ethericity. I've seen the room you're renting on Forest Lane.
What? But how?
I wouldn't be very good at my job if I didn't find things out, Miss Montgomery. Now please, drop the act and tell me about your experiments.
Fine. I've been
Better than
researching
telling her I
etheric
found the
effects
key.
on living organisms. I'm planning on presenting my discoveries to the board once I make more progress. So far, I've managed to discover that plant growth is accelerated significantly. It's given me quite the advantage in class.
But isn't that cheating?
You have no idea how difficult it's been for me to be taken seriously, Mr. Fordham. No matter how hard I tried, my work wasn't valued on its own merits by my peers or professors. I fought hard to get where I am. I wasn't about to lose all that just because some pig-headed idiots didn't think my best was good enough.
That sounds awfully familiar.
What about your notes on the effects of ethericity on animals?
Oh, those aren't complete. I haven't tested the effects on anything larger than flies.
Okay, now
Those
she's being more
experiments
honest.
were mainly to satisfy my curiosity, but they have little to do with my actual research.
Curiosity? Seems like a lot of effort to go to just to answer a question. But then, I never really understood these scientific types.
No more questions for now.
Then if you don't mind, I have work to do.
So it's possible. No, it was ethericity that put her in that position. Let's see if we can talk to you again.
Nothing else?
Okay, that's a no. Coffee shop. Anything? Constance. Ah, we can talk to Constance. Good.
We haven't anything to discuss right now, Fordham. Come back when you've got something for me.
Okay, never mind. I don't have anything to talk with her about. Well, shit.
This quack.
Let's go back up top here. I want to mess around with the harpsichord real quick. Nope, I got nothing.
As amusing.
Is there anything else? No, it's just a
So
pretty
long.
bird again. Alright, can't go back to her place there. We've already looked at everything. Let's try Mom again here.
Welcome back, Mr. Fordham.
She's not.
Oh, fucking Christ, come on!
I've met.
Seeing you come home.
Let her read.
What am I missing?
I'd love to see the look on Snelling's face if he ever found out you kept your old truncheon.
Have a lovely day, Addie.
Don't work yourself.
I don't want to have to look it up. You really don't. I'm doing okay. I'm getting stumped a little, but I'm doing okay. But what am I missing? There's gotta be something I can do around here. Guess we talked to the cop.
Good day to you, officer.
Good day, sir. How may I be of assistance?
Sure is a nice day to be walking around the cemetery, wouldn't you agree?
I guess, if you're into that sort of thing. Personally, the noise those bugs are making is starting to drive me crazy.
Would you mind letting me in the tomb, please?
Afraid I can't do that, sir. This tomb is currently part of a police investigation and ain't available for visits until further notice.
But it's my dearly departed Aunt Hester's birthday today, and I always bring her flowers.
I'm sorry, sir, but I've got my orders. Come back in a few days. I can assure you, your aunt won't have gone anywhere.
Good day to you, officer.
Afraid I ain't got time. Please.
God damn it.
This just goes to looks like people... You may think it's a silly super...
Am I missing anything?
This just goes to
Just the officer.
Good day to you.
Afraid I... Please.
God damn it. Okay. No, wait. Let's go talk to, what's her name? He's a married man who is very dedicated to his wife.
Talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
Finally.
I wanted to go over the case with you.
Okay, what have you got?
I seem to have hit a roadblock. There's an officer posted at Dupre's family tomb. He won't let me in.
Makes sense. Who's the officer?
Besides, the seducer
Never
was
seen him
Bill
before.
anyway.
He's young, has a small scar over his left eye, and a distinct Dixie accent.
Ah, yes, that would be Officer Grant. He's only been with the department for about 2 months. I don't know a lot about him, but he's already got the reputation for being the type of policeman who'd go out of his way to help old ladies cross the street. Typical Southern gentleman, it seems. Perhaps you can use that to your advantage?
Uh-huh.
That's enough about the case for now.
Okay,
That's it, I think.
then you'd better get back to it.
Alright, Southern gentleman type. Yeah, but he was a cheating bastard. This man is very dedicated. He even said at the beginning of the game. He only has eyes for her, doesn't need to get all spiffy and look nice for other people. See what I mean?
Good day to you, officer.
Afraid I... Please.
Okay, so that's not it. Maybe we can bring the missus by.
I'm here.
Welcome home.
Aha! My instinct was right.
Addie?
Yes, dear?
I was wondering if you could do me a favor.
What is it?
There's an officer posted in front of Madame Dupre's family tomb, and I need to get a look inside. Could you use your wiles and charm to distract him?
My wiles and charm,
Well, you are irresistible, darling. I'm sure he wouldn't turn away a lady in need. Say you've gotten lost in the cemetery and ask him to show you the way out.
Should we really be tricking a police officer like that?
Yes.
There's no harm in it, and I won't be but a moment inside. It's in a good cause.
All right, let's go then. Excuse me, officer. I was wondering if you could help me?
What do you want?
I seem to have gotten all turned around. Do you have any idea how to get to the front gate?
My suggestion would be to turn around and head back the way you came.
Yes, I've tried that, but I seem to just be going in circles. Perhaps you could point me in the right direction?
Stop right there. That's quite enough from you.
I beg your pardon?
Don't think I can't tell what your game is. You're trying to lure me away from here and into some alley where your gang of Sambos is gonna rob me.
Wow.
Exactly how many of them have you got lying in wait for poor unsuspecting fools you bring them?
Just one. And he doesn't appreciate you talking to his wife that way.
You know, Miles, sometimes I forget how absolutely delightful it is to watch you lose your head.
Fucking right.
Miles, was that really necessary?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Addie. You know how I get with people whose minds are full of that rubbish.
Let's just get him out of sight before this lands both of us in jail. That bush over there should work.
Fucking
I have
perfect.
to say, I wasn't expecting assaulting a policeman to be on today's activity list.
It'll be fine. When you're on the force as long as I was, you can pretty much get away with murder.
Although I think you may have already used up that privilege.
Well, it's been fun, but I need to take my wiles and charm over to my appointment with Mrs. Lefebvre. I'll see you at home later, dear. Try to stay out of trouble.
God damn. There is. I am glad I am not having to read the dialogue for the most part, because there are some things being said that I don't want to say.
That nest is full of eggs. But where's the mother bird?
Perhaps she abandoned it.
Always assuming the worst, aren't you, Miles? These crypts are reserved for future generations of Chestertons to rot it.
There are only 3 left.
Then let's hope the Chestertons aren't opposed to spending eternity cozied up to one another.
Let's check the open crypt first.
This must be what was going to be Madame Dupre's final resting place.
I don't see anything inside.
What? Were you expecting a note from her attacker?
No, but I was hoping for some kind of clue at the very least.
What a dramatic statue. I'm rather surprised no one has defaced it. Hang on. You don't suppose this is...
Yeah. I do.
Surprise, surprise! A hidden compartment with a stash of pills inside. Seems Mr. Montgomery has a little business on the side.
Well.
Desmond Chesterton, 1745 to 1810. Strong in life, stronger in death. Jane Scott Chesterton, 1746 to 1815. Ab Eterno. John Patrick Chesterton, 1740 to 1825. Patriarch, leader, family man.
I just want to read these.
William Arthur Chesterton, 1770 to 1837. Gone but never forgotten. Celine, 1823 to 1844. Taken too soon. Rest ye with the angels. Sarah Chesterton, 1784 to 1812. I told you I was sick. Dale Chesterton, 1795 to 1843. A good man. Rest in peace. Douglas Chesterton, 1791 to 1840. Good riddance.
I have to admit, it's a fairly ingenious hiding spot. I suppose the whole heaven shining down upon the tomb motif is good for the dead people's self-esteem.
I suppose. I like how it's a hole in the brick wall that we're looking through for this. That's actually kind of fun. Little things like that. Nice little touches. Just to make the game fun and interesting. Let's get the fuck out of here before we get in trouble
like
now.
People have left. You may think it's a silly.
That way, yeah. Alright, just got the pills. So let's head back here. Let's have a little talk with, the quote-unquote man of the house.
I have some questions for you.
Oh, goody.
You'll never believe what I found in your family's tomb.
Oh? Was it a ghost?
No, it was these vigor pills. You wouldn't happen to know how they got there, would you?
I see you really are good at your job, aren't you, Mr. Fordham?
Look, Andrew, I'm in no mood for games. I'm willing to overlook your unlawful activities in exchange for your cooperation.
Fine, but you have to understand, I'm not exactly feeling myself right now.
Oh, then you can take one of
I
these pills.
understand perfectly, which is why I need you to take one of these pills.
I suppose one would help. Thank you.
Alright.
My goodness, I always forget how fast those pills work. My heart is racing. You said you had questions, didn't you? Well, go on, ask them already. We mustn't waste any more time.
Well, that seems to have done the trick.
And he has a heart
I just hope
attack.
we haven't doomed him to a heart attack.
Wouldn't really miss
What
much.
can you tell me about Madame Dupre?
I can't believe anyone would be so cruel as to do what that wretched bastard Martin did to her. Mother is kind and generous, and everyone loves her. She's even good enough to hire actual people to do the housework. Not many wealthy families do that, you know. They just use automated machines or hire servants to operate the manual ones.
How do you typically spend your days, Mr. Montgomery? What are your interests?
I study pharmacology at the university. I'll be graduating next year if all goes
The
well.
fact that he's studying
I just
anything
hope
is amazing.
Mother has recovered enough by then to understand what's going on. She and Jean were so proud of me when I started university. I'd be so disappointed if she couldn't see me finish.
I take it Jean is your stepfather.
He is. Mother married him 5 years after my father died of consumption.
My condolences. Do you have a good relationship with him?
Not terribly. Truth is, I hardly ever see him. In fact, before the funeral, I hadn't seen him at all this month.
Really?
Where is he now?
I don't know for certain, but it seems likely he's at his hunting cabin.
A hunting cabin?
His hunting cabin?
Yes, he often goes there. It's his way of leaving polite society behind and spending time with his thoughts.
Interesting, I know the location.
Considering what Mother just went through, well, I would guess that's where he's gone. Although, to be honest, I don't know why he's not here with Mother in her time of need.
Oh, no.
Why do people run away from their problems instead of facing them? Why, Miles?
Do you know where this cabin is?
Afraid not. I don't share his passions, so I never cared much to accompany him on his outings.
We'll have to ask the sister then.
What can you tell me about your sister, Juliet?
Juliet, smart as a whip and just as forgiving. She's a fighter, that one. Despite being the only woman in her class, she's managed to rank at the top.
Impressive.
I only wish Mother was more accepting of Juliet going to university. But you don't want to hear about boring family matters, I'm sure.
No, they're kind of necessary.
Oh, but family matters are my favorite. It's always so reassuring to know how much worse off everyone else is.
What exactly were the circumstances leading up to your mother's supposed death?
A few days ago, I arrived home from school and found her collapsed on the floor. She wasn't breathing, so I immediately contacted Dr. Fellows. He examined her and pronounced her dead. We were all completely shocked. I was devastated. She'd been in fine health. In fact, she'd just been out riding that morning.
Had she?
You can imagine our surprise at the funeral when she sprang back to life.
Yeah, really.
What's your relationship with the servants like?
Relationship? I don't have one with them. They're servants. Mother always made it clear that they weren't part of the family, just help. We've only got 2 on staff right now, though, the kitchen girl and the gardener.
Yeah.
How is it you know Albert Martin?
He works at the greenhouse where my sister Juliet does her research. The 2 of them were involved romantically, and Mother didn't like that at all. I heard their fights. They were ghastly.
What exactly made you suspect he was the one responsible for what happened to your mother?
Well, I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? His mother's a notorious voodoo witch. Those people do all sorts of awful things to our kind.
To
It's
our
all out of
kind.
spite, you know. He knew Mother disapproved of his relationship with Juliet, so he plotted to get rid of her.
So, you're running some kind of pill business on the side?
I'm providing a service, Mr. Fordham. Not everyone in this life is as lucky as I am. People pay top crown for luxuries like airship tickets and social club memberships. Medicine should be affordable to all. Dr. Tennyson has a patent on the energy pill formula and thus a monopoly on the market. That means he can charge whatever he wants. Students use these kinds of pills all the time, you know. Academic rigors can be overwhelming, and concentrating can be difficult without help sometimes. I've got the skills and the equipment. If I can replicate the formula, help my fellow students, and sell them at a much more reasonable price, why shouldn't I?
There's the fact that what you're doing is illegal.
Oh, you're starting to sound just like Mother. And just because it's illegal doesn't mean it's immoral. I can think of plenty of examples where the opposite is true.
You're probably the most altruistic person I've met all month.
The sad part is it's true.
Yeah, I have to say, that is the sad part.
That's a rather exotic bird you've got.
Yes, Ray is nice when he's quiet. But get him started and it's tough to shut him up.
Who trained him?
I think he already knew some phrases when Mother bought him. She's managed to teach him a few new ones, though.
Thanks for your time.
Has she?
My pleasure.
Interesting. Nope, still the same.
So long.
Let's go have a chat with the sister, maybe. Or no, we can talk to him, I guess.
Doctor, may I ask you a few questions?
Please.
Tell me what you know about Jean Dupre.
I'd rather not speak of him. Madame Dupre does not need to be agitated any further.
I take it you don't look very favorably upon him, then.
I'll just say this. If my wife had been attacked and left for dead, you can be sure I wouldn't leave her side.
What a gentleman. He doesn't even leave women who aren't his wife.
I see what you mean. Do you know where I might find him?
I only wish I did.
Those are all the questions I've got for now.
I hope I answered them adequately.
Sure thing, Jeeves, whatever you say. The school. Daughter might know where Daddy, well, stepdaddy, takes his little outings.
Hello again, Miss Montgomery. Mind answering a few more questions?
Hello, Mr. Fordham. Not at all.
Is there anything you can tell me about your stepfather, Jean?
He's a kind man. I don't really see him too often. He seemed rather upset at Mother's funeral, but I can't help but wonder if he feels the same way as I do about her death.
No.
What do you mean?
Just that I get the distinct impression that he and Mother's marriage isn't as perfect as they'd like it to appear.
I'm starting to sense a trend here.
Your brother told me that Jean enjoys hunting. Do you know where his cabin is?
Yeah, please tell me.
Yes, it's in Fenton Swamp. I went out there with him a few times, but I didn't really enjoy it. Frankly, the place is rather grotesque. All those stuffed trophies staring at you with their cold, dead eyes. Plants are much nicer to have around. Anyway, if you take the main road through the swamp about 1.5 miles, you'll come upon a small dirt path that goes northeast.
Okay.
Take that until you see a small cabin on the left. That's it.
Thank you for the information, Miss Montgomery.
Well, let's see.
No more questions.
Got some good information there. Way out here. Let's see what Jean is up to. Ooh.
Hello? Is anyone here?
Strange of Dupre to leave the door unlocked. Maybe it means he'll be returning soon.
There's a gun missing, so it's possible.
Guns is missing. Jean must be out using it currently.
Let's not be here when he gets
Satchels,
back.
boxes, and other assorted boring things for hunting. I had a nasty run-in with an alligator when I was a child. One less in the world doesn't really bother me, to be honest. An absolute bore. Are these even native to New Britannia? You really have to wonder about someone who chooses to surround themselves with dead things.
Fair.
Not a very dignified end for our friend Mr. Bear. Some high society type in the middle of a hunt. I don't understand why anyone would get a thrill out of murdering innocent creatures.
I kind of agree. Like, it's one thing for food, but beyond that.
Let's see if Jean has anything interesting in here.
Open sesame.
Not very much, except a letter.
Dear Jean, thank you so much for your help. To think that Mother would try and have me withdrawn from my studies is just unbelievable. Don't worry, I won't tell her you made the university change their minds. One attempt to ruin a life is quite enough.
Who the hell are you? What are you doing in my cabin?
Jean Dupre, I presume?
Yes, that's right. Who are you?
Miles Fordham, private investigator. I'm looking into the attempted murder of your wife.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course.
Of course he's French.
Forgive my rudeness,
Dupree.
but you startled me.
Perfectly understandable, Mr.
Yeah,
Dupre.
seriously.
This is a man whose bark is most definitely worse than his bite.
Let's give a talk.
Can we talk, Mr. Dupre?
I suppose so.
It's too bad Quinn's not here. So much baguettes in chat.
What can you tell me about Madame Dupre?
Oh, my dear wife. The past few days have been just awful for all of us.
Yes, I can imagine. How long have you been married?
For 7 wonderful years. Laura and I are just as much in love now as we were on the day we married.
Oh, are you?
Does he actually expect anyone to believe that nonsense?
You'll pardon me for being so frank, Mr. Dupre, but why are you out hunting and not at your wife's side?
Excuse me? Who are you to lecture me on my marriage?
A fellow married man, that's who. Your wife has just suffered a very traumatic ordeal. Shouldn't you be at home caring for her?
But with all the confusion at the house with the police investigating and her being attended to by her doctor, I just needed to get away for a bit. Surely you can understand, Mr. Fordham.
There's something off about this guy, Miles. He's definitely hiding something. And for once, I don't think it's from his wife.
Do you know anything about the circumstances surrounding Madame Dupre's death?
horrible. Simply horrible.
Do you have any idea why
He's
Mr. Martin
horrible.
might have attempted to kill her?
Mr. Martin? You mean the boys they arrested? Andrew said it's because Martin and his mother are witches who prey on the well-to-do. You only need to take one look at him to see his trouble. It's a shame they put him away so quickly. I'd have liked to teach him a lesson or two, believe you me.
Yeah, right. A lesson on how to cower in the corner, most likely.
I suppose it goes without saying that you enjoy hunting, Mr. Dupre?
Yes, I do. I consider myself something of an outdoorsman, you see. It's nice to be able to go out and get some fresh air after being sat at the bank all day.
What about your home life?
Truth be told, I'm not at home as often as I'd like to be.
Really?
I've been trying to make more time, but something usually comes up. Business is business, after all.
Yeah, but what business are we talking about here?
Yeah, true.
What can you tell me about your stepchildren?
Andrew and Juliet? I see a bright future ahead for both of them.
What's your relationship with them like?
It's fine. Why do you ask?
I got the distinct impression from both of them that they hardly ever see you.
Well, yes, I suppose that is true. We don't spend much time together. But they're both so busy with school, I don't want to get in their way.
Really
Not to
now?
mention my job keeps me away from home for considerable periods of time.
Excuses, excuses. I get the feeling Mr. Dupre avoids his family on purpose. But why?
Boo Boo is too pricey. I need to save for pain, but I desire to hear Boo Boo say, home baguette. I don't know how I would do that one. Let's see. Me French Boo Boo going, baguette. See, I can't do it. It doesn't work. It doesn't really work. It's hard to do a Boo Boo with an accent like that.
Do you know anything about Madame Dupre trying to get Juliet taken out of her classes at the university?
Ah, yes. Laura didn't approve of her daughter's desire to further her education. So, she sent a letter to the university requesting Juliet's withdrawal. I didn't approve of her trying to meddle in Juliet's affairs. If she wants to study, she should be free to do so. I wrote them a letter myself, without Laura's knowledge, telling them to disregard the previous request for withdrawal.
That's very good of you.
Yes, well, I dislike seeing people being told what they can and can't do by others.
Yet, he seems perfectly willing to employ servants at his home. Well, I suppose we're all hypocrites in one way or another.
I'll be going now.
Au revoir, Mr. Vaudin.
Now let's have a quick chat, shall we? With the sister again. Because we're finding more and more motive. Now we know what the
Hello
rift
again,
was.
Miss Montgomery. Did your mother try to get you withdrawn from the university?
Cleared another
As a
dungeon,
matter of
Slackers
fact, she
1.
did.
Fuck, I'm such
Just
a dungeon
another
crawl
one of the
nerd.
many ways she tried
Yeah,
interfering
you
with
are.
my life.
But that's fine.
What happened exactly?
Mother
Doing what
wrote
you
the
enjoy is what
university
matters.
requesting that I be withdrawn. I found out about it when the enrollment office contacted me. I couldn't believe it at first. I thought it was some sort of mistake, but then they showed me the letter.
I take it you were upset.
More than upset, Mr. Fordham. I was furious. I was trying to make a real life for myself. One that wasn't about dresses or debutante balls or fending off suitors. I'd been given the chance to make something of myself, and Mother was ready to bring it all crashing down, just because she didn't agree with it.
But in the end, you're still here.
Yes, Jean stepped in and fixed everything. He didn't have to do it, but it was very good of him. I'm afraid that was the beginning of the end of my relationship with Mother. We never really managed to fix things after
Okay,
that.
then. Now we have more of a clue.
No more questions for now.
Then if you don't mind,
And we have motive.
Fordham, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Wait, what am I saying? Of course you are. Madame Dupre has been interfering with Juliet's studies and disapproved of her relationship with Martin, hence they're falling out. Plus, the information in Juliet's notes about ethericity, putting animals into a death-like trance, seems awfully suspicious. It's enough to establish both means and motive. That's plenty to consider her a suspect.
True. Now what? Because I don't think that's the end of it. Let's see if we can go talk to what, yeah.
Nothing
Albert.
else to ask him?
God damn it. So not there.
She's not gonna...
Alright, let's try here. Constance, what do you got for me?
Can we talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
There we go.
I wanted to go over the case with you.
Okay, what have you got?
Jean Dupre isn't talking very much. I think he's hiding something.
Well, you have a knack for making people divulge their secrets.
There has to be something that'll make him talk. Perhaps I should check with those close to him. That's enough about the case for now.
Okay.
Ah, I could actually just go and accuse
Then
her
you-
now. But I don't think we have enough yet to really go on that. I mean, we have motive. An opportunity, technically. But it doesn't feel right.
This quack has...
Fire truck's going by. Hope everything's okay. Let's go talk with you.
Amelie?
Yes?
Aha.
What is it? We must...
Anything you can tell me about Jean?
I hardly ever see him. Only at dinner. He's scared of Madam, and so he finds any reason to get out of the house and stay away as long as he can.
Scared of her?
Oh, it's true. You should see him when they're in private. Like a shamed puppy that dirtied the carpet.
Interesting.
Do you have any idea why Jean is so afraid of Madame Dupre?
If he's seen the same things we have, then yes.
What have you seen?
What kind of things?
No, I spoke out of turn.
No.
Amelie, listen to me. A potentially innocent man's life is on the line. If I don't find out who attacked Madame Dupre, he's as good as dead. So if there are any facts or details you know that I don't, you need to tell me.
I can't.
You can. I'm not with the police. If Madame Dupre did something wrong, I'm not going to look the other way. Trust me, I'm on your side.
Madam beats the servants. I think she even does it for fun. I hear the screams sometimes. I don't know how anyone else in the family doesn't. Maybe they do and just ignore it. I don't know. But if Mr. Dupre knows what she do, it explains why he's so scared of her.
Did Madame Dupre ever abuse you?
No, I was lucky, but some of the others weren't.
Like who? I need details, Amelie.
The old gardener, Guy Dumas, and one of the maids, Celine. I saw Madame going after them the most. Don't know what they did to deserve it, but I would see her walk by in a rage, whip in one hand and a book in the other.
A book?
A book? What book?
Oh, I don't know. I can't read, so I don't know what it said on the cover. But it's the same color as the stew spice I always use. Don't know what she used it for, but she always had it with her, just before a beating.
Spice is probably red or orange.
Tell me more about Guy and Celine.
They were deeply in love with each other. I used to hear them talk about how they wanted to run away together.
What happened to them?
I don't know. One day they were here, and then one day they weren't.
Do you think Madame Dupre may have done something to them?
I couldn't say for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if she had. Please, let's not talk about this anymore.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amelie. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Now please, let me get back to work.
It's okay, she can't whip you in a catatonic state. So, book, huh? Let's see, can we have anything else to say to him before we go up and look at the book?
I have some questions for you.
All right.
Did you know Guy Dumas?
The old gardener? Sure, I knew him. We didn't talk very much. He was just a servant after all, but he seemed like a nice man. He stopped coming around about 2 months ago.
2 months?
Too bad, really. He did a good job of keeping the gardens looking nice. The new one is all right, but he just doesn't have that special touch Guy did.
And
Were you
Celine?
familiar with a servant named Celine?
Yes, I believe she was one of the maids. I didn't talk to her very much. Oh, she quit not so long ago. At least I assume she did. I haven't seen her in about 3 months.
Thanks for your time.
My pleasure.
Alright, I do want to... yeah, let's go talk... She talked with the servants. Let's go talk to her real quick before I go look at that book.
Hello again.
Hello.
Do you know Guy Dumas?
Yes, he was one of our servants. He used to enjoy reading my books, as well as Andrew's.
Really?
When did you see him last?
Just last week, he came by to see me and asked to borrow some books.
Do you know where I might be able to find him?
Not really. I get the impression that he moves around frequently. But I can tell him you're looking for him next time I see him, if you like.
Please do. Although hopefully I'll be able to find him before then. Were you friends with Celine, the maid?
Yes, I was quite fond of Celine. She was so sweet and interesting to talk to.
So we know he's still
One
alive.
day, she just left the house with no explanation. Mother said it was because she had found work elsewhere. I was terribly saddened. I wish I'd had the chance to
Something
say
tells me
goodbye
that's
to her,
not
at
fucking
least.
true.
What's your interest in her?
Oh, I was just curious, that's all. No more questions for now.
Then if you don't mind.
Now. Actually, maybe we can find someone in here.
Can we talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
Alright, let's see if there's anything extra. Nope.
That's it.
Judging by the sooty apron.
Okay, so that's not it. So we're not going to run into him here. So let's head back to the manor. Actually, no.
Nothing else to...
Okay. Alright, back to the manor.
It's cool.
Time to, actually. Nope, no new
So long.
things. Alright. We need to go to Mother Dearest's room. Books.
Well, this should be the book Amelie mentioned. Well, well, what have we here?
Oh joy, a secret whip.
And it has dried blood on it. How ghastly.
This house is just full of secrets, isn't it?
Wait a minute. What's on the wall? I didn't miss it.
It would appear that Madame Dupre was taking music lessons.
Oh
Her
no.
current predicament has probably put an end to that venture, though.
The something scale. C scale. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Alright. I never would have guessed these people are secretly the Belmonts. No, they don't got their vampires. I told you it'd be something with that harpsichord. Sorry, missed it. Okay, so it's just this one. No. Let's go back and look at that again. I'm doing something. No, I don't want that. Let's take a look at that note again. It was middle C, right? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Yeah. They're whole notes. Maybe I have to hold them longer. That might be it. Not just click it, but hold it. God damn it. There's gotta be something I'm missing. It's something to do with this. Okay, so going backwards, isn't it? What is the trick here?
I don't know much about it.
What's the hint with this fucking note? It has something to do with this. Wait. The bird. She's been teaching him something. Maybe it's something to do with the bird.
Who's a pretty bird?
Quack! Ray's a pretty bird.
Polly want a cracker?
No, thank you. Quack!
Pieces of 8?
Bye, matey. Quack!
Damn it.
So long, Birdie.
Quack!
As amusing.
Amelie?
Yes? What is it?
Oh, good. We can talk to her again.
I found this upstairs in Madame Dupre's bedroom. Do you recognize it?
Oh, please take that away, Mr. Fordham. Why would you show it to me?
I'm sorry. I didn't think it would upset you.
Miles. Maybe someday you'll learn how to read basic human emotion.
Thank you, Amelie. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Now, please, let me get...
What's with the notes? Maybe he would know something?
As amusing.
Okay, no. What about the sibling? Will you know something?
She's busy.
Alright, let's go talk to Jean. Maybe he'll have a clue. It's his room too, after all. Alright.
Can we talk, Mr. Dupre?
I suppose so. Yes.
Oui, you mean.
Do you fear your wife, Mr. Dupre?
Do I... what?
The question's quite simple. Are you afraid of Madame Dupre?
Why in the East would you think that?
I'd be afraid of someone who kept a bloody whip in my bedroom. Care to explain that?
Ooh, what?
You don't know.
Are you gonna do
her
something
like I
very
do.
painful to me?
No one does. Well, no one aside from the servants, I suppose. She's cruel, Mr. Fordham. Crueler than anyone or anything I've ever seen.
Really, you don't say.
Tell me more about Madame Dupre's cruelty.
She treats the servants like animals, Mr. Fordham. She would say the most vile, awful things to them. Things I would expect to hear on the Gascon docks, not from the lips of a grande dame. And the beatings. Oh, God. The screams I would hear from somewhere in the house. I never dared find out where.
Nobody else ever heard the screaming?
No. She was cunning.
Everything's great here, June.
When no one else was around.
Oh,
Once
yeah.
she knew I had heard, she threatened me. Told me she would...
Yes?
She threatened to expose my secret, Mr. Fordham.
And what secret is that?
Our marriage is one of convenience. It's all for show. Laura has herself a well-to-do husband, and I am a normal man in the eyes of society.
I see. I suppose that would explain a few things.
Well, now, how was that not obvious to you? The soporific is really having a bad effect on you.
Don't worry, Mr. Dupre. Your secret's safe with me.
Thank you, Mr. Fordham.
Okay, then.
Tell me what you know about Guy Dumas and Celine.
Celine had an accident.
What?
What kind of accident?
Laura thought Celine had been stealing her silverware. She got a bit carried away with a beating and...
Dupre killed Celine?
Yes, she did.
Oh, God.
In order to keep it quiet, she had Celine placed in our family tomb.
Oh.
I see. What about Guy?
I don't know. I never saw him again after that.
The Celine from the
Well,
tomb.
this case has certainly taken a turn for the sinister.
I'll be going now.
Au revoir, Mr. Fordham.
Let's go back to the family tomb and hope the guy's still knocked the fuck out. Yep. Glass Joe is still nowhere to be seen. Which one was this one? Celine?
William Arthur Chester. Douglas Chester. Celine.
There you go.
1823 to 1844. Taken too soon. Rest ye with the angels.
Wait a minute. This is Celine, the maid.
Oh.
Somehow a piece of paper got wedged into the side of the vault. Carefully now.
Tweezers. Ha ha.
Got it. Nice work, Fordham. Now to see what this is.
I'm big brain. She will
Interesting.
pay for what she did to you,
Leaving
my
notes
love.
for the dead. How very touching. I wonder if anyone has left me one at my grave.
Quiet, Bill. I need to think. We know this note is likely from Guy. Now we just need to figure out where to find him.
Is there anything on the other side of that piece of paper?
Bill, you're a genius.
I wouldn't give me all the credit just yet.
Let's see. A receipt for an extended stay at the Stun Arms. Does that sound familiar at all?
Vaguely. But I can't recall anything off the top of my head.
Looks like we'll have to do a bit more searching.
Well, I know where we're going. Alright, let's go here. Let's go talk to Constance. She'll know.
Can we talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
I wanted to go over the case with you.
Okay, what have you got?
I found this note in the Chesterton
Oh,
tomb.
and
I think it was left by the person who attacked Madame Dupre.
Madame
Nice
Dupre
work.
is also
Sounds
a
like
murderer,
you're about ready to wrap
so,
things
you
up.
know.
I will be as soon as I find him. Take a look at the other side of it.
Part of a receipt for a hotel?
Yes, but the name is only partially visible at the bottom.
Stun Arms. The only hotel that comes to mind is the Boston Arms in Chumley.
Of course! I knew the name sounded familiar. The stories I could tell you about that place. Not right now, of course.
You're helpful as always, Upton. Thank you.
Good luck, Fordham. I hope you...
We're doing pretty good here.
That's enough.
Okay.
That's it.
Let's go check out this new place. Oh.
Who is it?
I'm Miles Fordham, a private investigator. It's extremely important I speak with you, Mr. Dumas.
Private investigator. What do you want?
Just to talk. May I come in?
Yes, I suppose so.
I found your note in St. Denis Cemetery. Care to explain what it means?
How did you...
I'm a private investigator, Mr. Dumas. That's what I do.
I big
Now,
brain
we can
for a
either do
living,
this the
sir.
easy way or the hard way. It's up to you.
I left that note for Celine. I didn't think anyone would ever find it.
So it was you who attacked Madame Dupre?
Yes. Yes, it was me. I confess.
I can't remember the last time a suspect actually confessed. If only they were all like this.
But please, Mr. Fordham, you have to understand. The woman is evil.
Oh, we fucking know.
If only you knew what she did. Please, don't arrest me, Mr. Fordham. You have to know the truth about Madame Dupre.
Relax, Mr. Dumas. I'm not going to arrest you just yet. I'm perfectly willing to hear your side of the story. Now let's take this nice and slow.
And don't punch me in the face.
What can you tell me about Madame Dupre?
She seemed like a nice woman at first, but after working for her, I came to know how awful she truly was. When no one was around, she would beat me and some of the other servants for fun, say the most cruel things, call us horrible names.
I'm not surprised.
Why didn't you just leave?
She threatened us, told us she would make it impossible for us to get work anywhere else. It's already difficult enough getting a job that doesn't force you to operate those awful machines. To be blacklisted by Madame Dupre would have been the final nail in the coffin.
How did you come to be employed by Madame Dupre?
I used to work in an iron factory in Chumley, but a few years ago, they brought in some steam machines to help production. One of the machines had a problem, and my friend Connor and I were assigned to fix it. We had no idea what we were doing, but we wanted to keep our jobs. I don't know what happened, but the next thing I knew, Connor was dead, and I was badly hurt. I swore never to go near one of those machines again. After I got better, I spent a few months looking for work, but it was impossible to find any jobs that didn't involve steam tech. Then I found out about Madame Dupré. Working at her home seemed like an improvement. I had a decent bed to sleep in. The work was not difficult, and I even made friends with her daughter. But Madame Dupré soon showed her true nature.
She was a bitch.
Tell me about Celine.
Oh, my dear Celine. She was the most beautiful thing I ever saw. We were going to get married, you know. Then that devil killed her. She beat her to death in front of me. I was powerless to do anything. Please, Mr. Fordham, I don't want to remember. Let us speak of something else.
Do you know Albert Martin?
No. Who is that?
He's Juliet's lover, falsely accused of the crime you committed.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Are you going to let an innocent man die because of what you did?
No, of course not. I suppose things got out of hand. It was not my intention for someone else to take the blame for my actions.
So why did you attack Madame Dupré in the way you did?
I knew that if I went to her home and killed her, I would be caught and thrown in jail. I needed to find a way to do it quietly and not make anyone suspicious.
So?
Also, I wanted her to suffer for what she did to my Celine.
Oof.
I had read about toxic plants in Juliet's schoolbooks, and I knew a bit about them from working as a gardener. So I decided to poison Dupré and make her appear dead so she could be buried alive and suffer the same way she made us when she would lock us away in her secret room.
Did you say secret room?
Knew it.
Yes, Mr. Fordham. It was no bigger than a coffin. She would place us inside if she was especially mad at us, with no food or water, sometimes for days at a time. We couldn't scream because she would stuff our mouths. She would also plug our ears and cover our faces.
How often did she put you in there?
Only a few times, but that was more than enough. I'd rather not think about it.
So you have no idea where it is?
None. I only remember Madame Dupré would say the same thing any time she was about to put someone in there.
What would she say?
A perfect servant must behave. I've told you everything, Mr. Fordham. Are you still going to arrest me?
Not right now.
I haven't quite decided yet, Mr. Dumas. If I can find this secret room, it would be enough to charge Madame Dupré with a crime. However, if you haven't been telling me the truth...
I have been, Mr. Fordham. I swear it. I'll even make you a deal. If you promise me you'll try to find the secret room, I won't leave this hotel.
All right, Dumas. It's a deal.
All right.
Well, at least now we can go straight to Upton and have him taken in. Unless you really do believe him about the secret room.
Oh, I think I'm going to believe him about the secret room. We had the secret painting with the whip.
That's all for right now.
And it
but I'll
talks
be
about
back.
screams.
Yes,
So,
Mr. Fordham. I'll be here.
Seems to be what passes for a dresser around here. Either that or Dumas is secretly a pirate.
Yo-ho. Now, we have a phrase and a parrot. There's only one thing to do for it.
A perfect servant must behave.
And now you'll taste an early grave. Me sofa, Ray. In the middle, see?
Ah. Me so far right. Ooh. I get it.
So long.
Me so far right. I don't want to have to figure it out myself right now. Someone look back. Me so far right. So EGFD. 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 I don't want to forget EGFD. So remember, and I will read your message after I do EGFD. EGFD. EGFD.
That seems to have done something.
Oh,
Dear God!
This does not look good. He's dead. You should inform Dr. Fellows about this right away.
It seems Guy was telling the truth after all.
Yes, it would probably be a good idea to let him know of this development.
YouTubers reminding me of Yu's ability to eat things from the fridge, including moldy miso, bad milk, and what you think is barely tea, but it was really udon base. Interesting.
Guy?
Yes?
I found the secret room you told me about.
You see? I wasn't lying.
No, you certainly weren't. There was someone inside. A man.
No. Who?
I'm not sure, but I can only assume it was one of Madame Dupre's servants.
Was he all right?
I'm afraid not. He was dead. Dr. Fellows confirmed it was due to asphyxiation.
Madame Dupre must have put him in there before I drugged her. And then, with everything that's happened, she didn't let him out in time. Oh my God. It's my fault he's dead. If only I had known.
The circumstances are quite unfortunate, Mr. Dumas. However, this has shed a new light on Madame Dupre and her cruel practices. I can't say for certain that you were justified in your actions, but I am a bit reluctant to say you were completely at fault. But the bottom fact is that Mr. Martin has been falsely accused of this crime. If I were to let you go, he would be punished in your place. Unless...
Yes?
I'm going to need you to write me a letter, Mr. Dumas.
Of course, Mr. Fordham. Anything to take care of this mess.
Good. Hopefully now this whole grim affair can be brought to an end.
I wonder what was said. Document.
That's all for right now, but I'll be back.
Yes, Mr. Fordham. I'll be here.
Okay.
Nothing else, Dad? She's not...
I just want to see what other people have to say before I go talk to...
Oh, Mr. Fordham,
Constant.
you're back.
We haven't got anything...
Okay, if you weren't happy to see me then, I guess. Do you have anything to say about the secret room?
She's busy.
Okay, I guess we'll go talk to Constance. Or... Oh, you're not home right now. Never mind. You're at your appointment. That's fine. We have things to do. Time to wrap this case up.
Can we talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
I think I'm ready to wrap this case up.
Okay, who's your prime suspect?
Ah. I guess we go with the acquit.
It was Guy Dumas, a former servant at Dupre Manor. He used toxic plants to drug Madame Dupre so she appeared dead, which she learned about from her daughter's schoolbooks.
What was his motive?
That's the thing. I've learned that Madame Dupre is extremely cruel to her servants. She regularly beats them, and even has a secret room no bigger than a coffin where she places them as punishment. I discovered this secret room and found a dead servant inside. He had died from asphyxiation.
My God.
A few months ago, Madame Dupre beat Guy's lover Celine to death. He wanted revenge and intended to make Madame Dupre suffer the trauma of being interred alive.
I see.
Constance, I don't think Dumas should be arrested for his crime. He doesn't deserve it. Madame Dupre, however...
Yes, I see what you're saying, and I agree, but what about Mr. Martin?
I got a signed confession from Mr. Dumas. You can see the handwriting matches this note I found in the cemetery. That should be enough to release Mr. Martin, as well as giving Guy a head start in his escape from the city.
It's going to be tricky getting the department to look into this, but with the proof you've gathered, it should work. Excellent investigating, Fordham. I knew you still had it in you. And of course, I'll dip into the department's Good Samaritan Fund to get you proper compensation for your work. For now, go home to your wife. I'm sure I'll have something else for you to look into fairly soon.
Good evening. I'm looking for Madame Laura Dupre.
This is Madame Dupre. I am her personal physician, Dr. Fellows. May we help you, officer?
I'm afraid I must place Madame Dupre under arrest.
What? On what charge?
Several, actually. Manslaughter, domestic violence, murder in the second degree. Shall I go on, or can we continue this at the police station?
Woohoo. That's sweet.
You won't have to worry about Madame Dupre anymore. She'll be in jail for a very long time. And Mr. Martin has been released with a full pardon as well.
Thank you, Mr. Fordham. I appreciate your help and your trust.
Think nothing of it, but you'll need to leave town as soon as you can. Have you made plans?
I was thinking of heading south. New Britannia is too cold and dark. I want to find someplace more like my home.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, Mr. Dumas.
We did pretty good.
Addie, I'm home. Addie?
She must still be out at her hairdressing appointment. I'm glad we're alone because I wanted to talk to you about something.
Uh-oh.
Yes, Bill, I know. I told you I'm doing my best to try and find the flower shop burglar.
No, for once, this isn't about him.
Oh.
This is about you.
You want to talk about me? What about me?
You can play dumb and deflect all you like with everyone else around you, but it won't work with me. I know exactly what you're thinking, and you know exactly what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
You want to talk about how we did on this case?
Yes, that's exactly right. Have you already forgotten the old days, Miles? Before I died, we were solving cases like nobody's business. You were one of the best detectives on the force. But ever since you started taking that soporific, your mind hasn't been as sharp as before. If you're serious about taking on more complex cases, you need to listen to Adelaide and stop taking it. It's already had a negative effect on your performance.
What are you talking about? We were able to discover the truth about Madame Dupre.
Yes, but if you were working at your full abilities, you'd have come to that conclusion much sooner.
If I stop taking it, you won't let me sleep through the night. Nothing will change.
Well, things would change if you found you-know-who.
I thought you said we weren't going to talk about that right now.
Yeah, well, I say a lot of things.
An understatement if ever there was one. Can't you just keep quiet without me having to take something?
Afraid not, old friend. That's just not who I am or how this works.
If you keep me up all night, I'll go crazy. Things have been hard enough as it is. And if, God forbid, Adelaide were ever to find out about...
Hello, Miles. Is there someone else here? I thought I heard you talking just now.
Fantastic. The jig is up. And here I thought we were doing so well, too.
No, I was just going over the case. Thinking aloud, you see.
Ah, of course.
How was your appointment?
Mrs. Lefebvre was her usual bossy and overly picky self, but she gave me a very generous tip.
That's good.
So I stopped by the shop on the way home and bought a new deck of cards.
Oh.
Excellent. Shall we have a few rounds of écarté? I believe you demanded a rematch last time we played.
Yes,
I love
that
these
would be
two.
nice.
Well, you certainly managed to dodge that bullet. I only wish I could say the same.
I mean, you told me to take the shot, dude. Watch because Persona 4 is so fucking weird, having only played Golden. Everyone sounds the same except Chie, who sounds really
And it
fucking
says
different.
here they
Yeah,
still
and
don't
Teddy
know
was
what
different
caused
too,
that
I think.
explosion.
I guarantee you it was sabotage. Those Redites have been causing a lot of trouble lately.
Is that the group of anti-steam tech radicals?
The very same.
Why Redites, though?
They're named after some fellow named Jonathan Red. Apparently the one who began the whole anti-steam movement. It's really a rather stupid name, if you ask me. And uncreative, to boot.
Well, what would you call them then?
The Boom Boom Boys. The League for the Preservation of Blowing Things Up. The Anti-Steam Society. The Boom Boom Boys.
Something simple, like the Anti-Steam Society.
That almost makes him sound classy. Perhaps you'd best stick with the detecting, dearest. Your nomenclature needs a bit of work.
Ooh.
Well, I think it's about time I get ready for bed.
All right, Miles, if you must.
That will be where we're going to stop for the night, so... We'll call it that in case anything happens. Let me just double check here. There we go. Alright. And that is where we're going to call it for tonight. You know, I'm having fun with this. The dialogue is solid. The mystery was interesting. Characters are pretty well defined and expressed very well. The world does feel pretty alive with the backdrop of the steampunk technology and how it's kind of it's another industrial revolution kind of deal. And like the talk of like the super like kind of scientific supernatural kind of stuff with the aethericity, taking us into like a society where it's still, you know, the Britain that runs the U.S. So it's definitely interesting. 7.8 out of 10 needs more Tetsu. Hey, this was only the first case, and besides, we have a very awesome couple in the center of this story. It's really nice to see like a loving relationship when it comes to like these detective things, rather than like somebody who's like hard boiled and like so like distraught and destroyed by the time on the force or whatever. You know, they have a decently healthy relationship, and that's nice to see, you know. But yeah, I think we'll keep playing this. I'm enjoying this. I want to see where things go from here and see if I can get the old brain box to think harder, because I got stuck on a few things a little too long in my opinion. But hey, I'm having fun with this, so hopefully you'll be back with me for next week, which I still have to make the schedule for next week, so don't know what day yet. I might switch some things around, but we'll see. Anyway, we're going to listen. We're going to find someone to raid here in a minute, mostly because I'm hungry and I need to get food. I need 500 more points to make you suffer. Hey, you can save it for next time. Don't worry, I'll be here. Anyway, so we're going to find someone right here in a minute. Tuesday, of course, is when I'll be back for streaming. So enjoy a lovely Monday without me, at least some of you, unless you're in the Discord, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But before we do anything else, let's talk to the highlight people. Hi, highlight people. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. And if you have, please be sure to drop a follow here at twitch.tv/Xandros if you haven't already. That way you know when I go live and you get some lovely follower emotes, especially with, you know, you're here watching and a train goes by. You can hit those trains. Also, don't forget to follow me over on Twitter. I also post there when I go live. It makes it a little easier in case Twitch is a little slow on, you know, getting that out. Sometimes I've seen it go up like an hour late, but you know how that is. And of course, if you're interested, you can join the Discord server. I also post when I go live there. I also do try to do multiplayer stuff with people that are in the server that I know and trust. And of course, we do the listen-alongs on Mondays. Speaking of which, tomorrow's Monday. So we have the last of the Ninth Doctor... Sorry, I'm just putting stuff down. My bad. Yeah, the Ninth Doctor Adventures, and second volume, and it's been a fun listen. I'm looking forward to seeing how everyone else enjoys the rest of it. But Respond to All Calls' final story will be taking place at that point, and we'll be doing a special Eighth Doctor story called Phobos, which will be kicking off between 7:30 and 8 p.m. Eastern. Kind of depends on if I don't get off work stupidly late or anything, but I do try to start between 7:30 and 8 p.m. Eastern. So anyone in the Discord server is welcome to come join in for those. Just come hang out, chit-chat for a bit while we listen to some fun stories in space and time. Also, another way to support the channel, though, beyond the following, which is a very important thing as we slowly inch closer to 450 followers, is to drop a sub. You can do it for yourself. You can even use Prime if you have it, or you can gift it to someone else, because sharing is caring, and the gift of Spritz is always a pleasant gift, after all. Of course, you can always just donate directly via PayPal through that link right there, and that way Twitch gets nothing, which I think we can all agree is pretty good. And of course, the merch shop is right there if you want some Spritz adorableness for your very own shirts, stickers, blankets, nice little variety there, hoodies. And that's really all I've got. So like I said, everyone else, I'll be back Tuesday. I'm going to try to work on the schedule and get it out probably by tomorrow. And like I said, there might be some shake-ups a little bit on what I play on what days. We'll have to see what happens. But at any rate, I want to thank you all again for hanging out and watching. So we're going to find someone to raid. And until the next stream, stay safe, stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.